Vecchio, can you please give us a sound check, please? Just say your name.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Sound good.
Why do I hear all that background noise?
Somebody's TV. So we're going to go through the instructions now, and the governor's office, who's ever just setting them up, if you could just do a sound check, please.
Hey, can you hear me? Test 1, 2, 3.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all of our commissioners. We are going to have a great event, great show. We are now being on the screen. It will show up as the meeting has started, but nobody is actually seeing us right now. So if something popped up on your screen, I'm just letting you know what that is. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going to happen today, how this is being played out for the viewers to see, and what you can expect. So we're scheduled to go live at 5 o'clock on the dot. What will happen is on the screen, and I would advise everyone, please do not try to view it on Facebook or YouTube or anything, because there is going to be close to a 30-second delay in the process, and it will.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Deborah Davis Ford, Clerk of the Board of County Commissioners. I would like to wish each and every one of you a happy and healthy new year and welcome you to the 2021 virtual swearing in ceremony for the Essex County Board of County Commissioners. Please join me in welcoming the members of the Board of Commissioners: Tashami Cooper, Brendan Gill, Romaine Graham, Rufus Johnson, Leonard Luciano, Robert Mercado, Carlos Pramares, Wayne Richardson, and Patricia Siebel. So at this time, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem performed by Valerie Adams of Smooth Productions. And following that, in sequence, we will have the invocation presented by 3 Essex County clergy. First, Reverend Anita Wright, pastor of Trinity Presbyterian Church in Montclair, followed by Rabbi David Weisberg, the senior rabbi at Temple Benai Abraham in Livingston, and lastly, Iman Dean Sharif, Iman of Waris Cultural Research and Development Center in Irvington. And we will begin momentarily.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave boom through the night, that our flag was still there. And oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good day, and welcome to the Essex County Board of County Commissioners swearing in ceremony. I'm so very glad that you're here today. My name is Reverend Anita Wright, and I am from the Trinity Presbyterian Church in Montclair, New Jersey. I will be offering you our invocation today. Won't you pray with me? Let us pray. God, we thank you for these your people who have consented to serve you by serving Essex County. We pray that you would guide them as they make decisions. You would give them wisdom, that they would serve, oh God, with an open heart, with integrity, that they would serve with willingness and willing to serve your people. We thank you, oh God, for this opportunity. We thank you for calling and commissioning us for this moment. This is our prayer. Amen.
On behalf of Temple B'nai Abraham and the Jewish community of Essex County, I wish a congratulations to all those elected to the Essex Freeholder Board, soon to be called the County Commissioners, and to all of you swearing in on this sacred and solemn occasion to commit to working for the best interests and betterment of this community. For you and for all of us, I offer this invocation. Our God and God of our ancestors, the one who inspires salvation, source of life and power, may you bless and protect the leaders of our community and all those who exercise authority in keeping with our laws. May the Holy One of Blessing bring strength to these newly elected freeholders who work on behalf of those in need of support, strengthening them both in body and in spirit, and rewarding their efforts with success. May these freeholders act in accordance with the rabbinic insight that the truly strong are those who raise up the fallen, the truly honored are those who honor caregivers, and the truly wise are those who acknowledge the vital work of all our teachers. We turn to these leaders for inspiration and hope, direction and guidance. May they lead us in paths of peace, build communal cohesion through both word and deed, and bring about the blessing we pray for at the conclusion of each prayer service. May the one who brings peace on high, keeping life and the world in delicate balance, bring peace and growing safety and prosperity to our world below. And let us say, Amen.
Peace be upon you and the mercy and the blessings of Almighty God. With God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful Redeemer. We'd like to thank our County Executive, Joe DiFincenzo, as well as the Board of County Commissioners, and congratulate them. We'd also like to acknowledge the honorable elected and appointed officials and you, the honorable citizens of Essex County. Please join me in an invocation to our very special ceremony today. O Creator, cherisher, sustainer, and evolver of all life, we turn to you and ask forgiveness for our wrongs and pray that you will turn our hearts and our minds to your remembrance and obedience. Enrich us with pure intentions and enlighten our minds to be guided to receive your grace and providence. Make us steadfast on the straight and balanced path that leads to righteousness, truth, reality, and justice. Show us truth as truth and give us light so that we will follow that. Show us falsehood as falsehood and aid us with the strength to avoid and reject that. Relieve us of the threat of life caused by the pandemic and economic despair and the transgressions of the repulsive and hateful treatment committed by some. Shower us with your love and the love of your messengers and prophets. Prayers and peace be upon them. Help us to extend that love to each other. Give us the perception to see correctly and appreciate wise, ethical decision-making that brings forward lives enriched with the blessings of health, unity, peace, and prosperity for our society. O Protector of all, grant us sustaining sources of human healing that relieves us of any and all afflictions. May your peace, mercy, blessings, and guidance be upon all of us always. And let us all say, Amen. Peace.
8, 7.
Thank you, Valerie, and our clergy. Valerie, we look forward to hearing from you later again in the program. But next, we're going to have the honor of hearing from our welcome and special guest. But I have a little instructions for you. Just so the focus can be on each speaker, I'm going to ask you to turn off your camera, except for our first speaker, which will be the governor, and then our next speaker, which will be the Honorable Essex County DiVincenzo, and the Honorable County Chairman Leroy Jones. We ask you to turn off your camera for each one. So at this time, we have the honor of having the governor of our great state to join us. Please turn your attention to Governor Philip Murphy, who will give greetings from the State House.
Deborah, thank you. Hello, Essex County. What an extraordinary day to be with you, and I'm sorry I can't stay longer, but this is, I have to say, at one level, one of the darkest days in our country's history. And at another level, as they say, in government and in life, the show must go on. And in that respect, I'm incredibly honored to be with a screen full of dear friends and great leaders in Essex County. Literally, while the anthem was being sung and the invocations being spoken, I just got off the phone with Mayor Muriel Bowser from Washington, D.C. To get an update from her, to tell her that we were sending state troopers who are on their way to Washington, and we're prepared to mobilize and send members of the National Guard. She said that they had finally taken control of inside the Capitol. I think that's probably fresh information, and I believe that they are either assisting from the District of Columbia or actually running the operation. I think we all need to keep our country in our prayers. A really frightening and sad day, and God willing, we get this behind us and we move onward. To the happier news, I wish every government, including the state of New Jersey, could run like Essex County. And I want to salute all the commissioners, the constitutional officers, especially the county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, and Chairman Leroy Jones. They prove that good government is good politics. And we've never had a year like the one that we're in. So everything I've just said holds true. And then you add to that 10 months of an unrelenting pandemic. And Essex County has paid an enormous price, as much as any county in our state. And yet day in and day out, minute to minute, I can't tell you how many exchanges I've had with Joe over the past 10 months that were very specific to a testing issue or a hospital issue or I'll be with you, Joe, and many of you on Friday at the vaccination site. Essex, as usual, is leading the way in that respect. And at the same time, you've proven that the wheels of government continue to roll and continue to go forward. And it's a remarkable county in its diversity, in its humanity, in its character and courage, its resiliency, as we've seen this year. And that's not only the great county leadership, and again, government and politics. And Leroy, I want to again give you a big shout out and of deep appreciation, chair-elect of the Democratic Party in our state, but also it filters down to some extraordinary leaders in communities, each and every one of whom, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, I'm honored to say I know and work with together and constantly try to find common ground and common purpose. So the pandemic is still with us. I sadly think it gets worse before it gets better. That's the bad news, and it's for a whole lot of reasons, and you've all heard them. But there is good news. We will get through this. We know a lot more. We've got a lot more capacities. The vaccines are real. They're safe. They work. And we're slowly but surely. I wish we had more supply from the feds, but that will change too in short course. And slowly but surely, we're broadening this out. And I want to speak in particular to communities of color, of which there are some of the most iconic in our state, never mind our state, our country, in Essex County. This pandemic did not create the inequities, but it has laid them bare. So as we go forward together, we talk about that stronger, fairer New Jersey that works for everybody, not just for some. But we also have to say that we have got to have equity at center stage of every action we take. And shame on us if we don't, shame on me if we don't learn these lessons and move forward. I think we're doing a lot of that. We're on journeys, whether it's affordable, accessible healthcare, criminal justice reform, affordable housing, public education that's not just number one in the nation, but works for every community. I could go on and on. But those are the journeys that we are on together. Your support, your partnership, beginning with Joe and the commissioners and constitutional officers and Leroy, right on through the entire county, means more to me than you know. I don't know where we'd be without it. In so many respects, as I've said so many times, and I'll repeat before I close, as Essex County goes, so goes the state of New Jersey. God bless you all. I congratulate everybody getting sworn in tonight. I wish I could stay longer, but know that I'm with you in spirit, and I cannot wait to get back to the days, and I think they're coming. I think spring, early summer, we're going to be getting back to doing the sorts of things in person that we used to do and love so often in the past. God bless you all. Thank you all. Stay safe and stay well.
Thank you, Governor Murphy, for your words and for the time that you chose to spend with the Essex County Board of Commissioners. So now I wish to remind you, so that we can just focus on our next special guest. Please turn off your camera as we happy to introduce to you someone who has been putting Essex County first for the last 18 years, our county executive, Joseph D. Vincenzo Jr. He will greet us and give us welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Deborah. First of all, I want to wish everyone a happy and a healthy new year. Governor Murphy, I have to just say to you, you have been a true friend of Essex County. This year, from the beginning, your leadership speaks for itself. What you have done in the last 10 months with your leadership and guiding the state through this pandemic speaks for itself. I know Essex County alone, what you have done for us, you know, each and every day, not only yourself, but the team that you surround yourself with. We wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for your leadership. And I tell you this over and over again. I'm very much appreciative, whether it's you, whether it's your Commissioner Judy Perticelli, whether it's George Helmley. You have a tremendous team around you and you're doing a fantastic job. And I just want you to know, we here in Essex County, who's been hit one of the hardest, probably the hardest in the state of New Jersey.
Yes.
Want to thank you. And all of our 800 residents want to thank you. 800,000 residents want to thank you for what you've been doing. And
Joe, thank you. Same right back to you.
It hasn't been easy.
No.
To Chairman Leroy Jones, listen, this party wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for the leadership of Chairman Leroy Jones. He is, you know, he comes from all levels of government. He was on the political side, okay, and he was also on the government side. And there's no one better. You know, Leroy is all our friends. He's part of my family. He's my brother. He's somebody who's been supporting me thick and thin. Anytime I have any kind of situation whatsoever, Leroy's always calming me down. And I just want to thank him for everything he's done. Leroy, you put together an excellent slate. The people that got elected in November deserve to be elected. They represent not only their district, but they represent the county very, very well. Listen, this county wouldn't be where it's at in the last 18 years if it wasn't for our freeholders, now called the commissioners, if we didn't have their support. You know, we could propose things, but they have to vote for it. And it's been totally a team job, not only with the elected officials here, but also with the 3,500 employees that truly work there for their hardest, because they're the ones that we got to make sure that we continue to say thank you to. To Commissioner President Brendan Gill, to Vice President Commissioner Wayne Richardson, both of you, I want to thank you this year, the last 3 years, for your leadership. We would not be where we're at today if it wasn't for your leadership, Brendan. Okay, you've done an excellent job with us. Listen, we always didn't agree on everything, but we always came to a solution and we always came together. And when you're in a crisis like we are this year, this county, okay, we spoke as one, because not one person could do the job alone. You need a team. And I think you've done an excellent job with that. And I wish you nothing but the best. And thank you for your assistance. I told you this earlier today on the county and also on the state level. To Wayne Richardson, congratulations as the vice president. And thank you for what you've done the last 3 years. You've been nothing but the best, Wayne. Now you're moving up to the president. And I just want to congratulate you ahead of time. I don't know if you've already been elected, because this is the first time we're doing this virtually, but I want to say congratulations to you. You've shown your leadership ability, and I know we're going to be able to work well together, not only myself, but with my team. And Carlos Palmares, the new vice president, first Latino ever to be elected, I believe, on our commissioner, our freeholder commissioner board. And Carlos, you've worked your way up right from the bottom all the way to the top, and you've done an outstanding job, whether it's helping us in the mobile testing, whether it's at the food distribution. You know, you're very much part of this team. And to all the commissioners, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of the 800,000 residents that we serve. You have been nothing but supportive to the Essex County. And when we say putting Essex County first, you know, we mean it. It can't be just from me, it's from you, and it's from the 3,500 employees. So congratulations. Let's continue to work together. Let's continue to move this county first, and let's continue to put Essex County first. Thank you.
Thank you, County Executive. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing our final special guest to give greetings is our chairman, the one and only Leroy Jones Jr., Essex County Democratic Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. All of our elected officials, the viewing, Facebook, public, and to our governor who has been the pinnacle of leadership, as he's led us through this pandemic. Governor Murphy, I appreciate those very kind comments. As I said, you have been a leader in so many ways in 4 years of your governorship. It's been the essence of profiles and courage. And we appreciate all that you've been to this state and this country for that matter, and all that you'll continue to be as we move forward through this pandemic. To my friend and brother Joe DiVincenzo, who I have deemed as the state and Essex County's Man of the Year. Joe, you have been a remarkable leader. You have been an extraordinary elected representative. You have been the heart and soul of the county as we've struggled through this pandemic. From the time in March when it first reared its head in Essex County, you've not missed a beat in terms of being out there with the public on the front lines. Whether it's initiating the testing procedures in every area of the county, and then moving to not just the pandemic of social injustice, being on the front lines, walking with individuals, in the spirit of peaceful protest, to ensure that we are all protected against the injustices of society. And then being there on the front lines with food distribution, and ensuring that those that have been stricken with
the inability to provide for themselves, had the means to do that. And now as we, see the light at the end of the tunnel, and, we're at the point where we're looking at, a plausible way out of this, this terrible pandemic. You have been, steadfast with respect to the inoculation of the various categories. Joe, I can't tell you how proud I am of you. I can't tell you how, you have been, the glue that keeps us all together. And, you do that, in concert with, all of your department heads, the constitutional officers, the 3,500, employees of Essex County, but more importantly, your partners in government and the folks that, we're here to celebrate and, witness their swearing in for another term, the Essex County Board of Commissioners. So my hat's off, to you, Joe. Brendan, you have, distinguished yourself as a, leader over these last 3 years as president of what we, become to know as the Board of Freeholders and now the Board of Commissioners. You haven't wavered. You have been a partner with Joe. And at times, as Joe mentioned, sometimes things don't, you guys don't see eye to eye on things, but at the end of the day, there always is a resolution. But what was more important, is, how, you guys stood shoulder to shoulder, through this pandemic, shoulder to shoulder, as we demonstrated peacefully through, social injustice. And you continue to be shoulder to shoulder, as we, move through, this, this pandemic to, to seeing folks, with, a vaccine that will, hopefully lift, this invisible invader off our backs. You have been a friend and a brother, and you're someone that I hold in high esteem. You should feel proud, of the leadership that you bestowed to, on this county, and to your colleagues on the board, and to that, my friend, hats off to you. You've been a remarkable leader, my friend. Wayne, leadership is something that is not picked up, on a corner store magazine rack. It's something that, it's inherent in an individual. And, your colleagues, along with myself, have seen fit to know that, you possess those qualities. You have been a partner to Brendan, a partner to Joe, a friend, who, if you recall, one day in the parking lot, a guy asked you, hey, man, what do you think about being an elected official, on the board of chosen freeholders? And hence, a number of years later, you're still on that board, but you're about to take a step in leadership, that, as we still are on the brink of, calamity and, trying to get, our health, situation back in order. That leadership quality is going to be needed, and I know that you will be there every step of the way. Carlos, leaders need partners. Leaders need backup. And, being the vice president, is one that, is not just, a ceremonial position, but it's a position that, is steeped in, great support, and knowing that, when leadership, says, we're going in one direction, we all have to row in the same direction in order to get there at the same time. You have demonstrated your ability to support your colleagues, and I know that you will, continue and, display and relay that support to, to our president and the members of, this board. So, congratulations to you when we get to that point as well. You have been, a friend and a solid leader, and, the qualities that you exhibit as a family man, will work its way and show how, you bring together, agendas and, and friends and electeds to do a job that is also needed in this county. And, to the, the remaining members of the board, today, and these last several days, we've talked and discussed, of a term called democracy. And today our democracy has been challenged to the brink. Our democracy has, been under siege. We are, on the brink of, insurrection. We begin to ask ourselves, and I think all of you have to ask yourselves, how do we stay resilient in the midst of controversy and chaos? Well, we understand one thing, and I think you all understand this. Fear has never been a motivator, and hope will always remain our eternal motivation. You guys have, joined together, as a group of individuals that have shed a nomenclature, deemed as the Essex County Board of Freeholders and now the Essex County Board of Commissioners. But I want you to understand one thing. Those are terms, those are titles. The title that illuminates and strengthens our democracy is something simply called public service. You are all public servants, and you all have a responsibility to your greater constituencies to protect, to serve, to deliver good government. We've put together a team that I believe is second to none in the state of New Jersey, county level. And I believe, that this board will continue to distinguish itself. Each and every one of you bring a unique quality. Each and every one of you bring a unique passion. Each and every one of you, have a desire to serve. And the culmination of all that is simply public service. I take my hat off to each and every one of you, knowing full well, what it means to be an elected official in the county of Essex. And I thank you for your service to date. And I continue to encourage you to distribute and disseminate that service as we move forward into the future, and today it becomes so important as we begin to restore the soul of America. God bless you all. Happy New Year. And, Godspeed to each and every one of you and your families. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. Now we're going to welcome back Valerie Adams. I'm going to ask the Board of Commissioners and the guests to please join me with your cameras. And we're going to move to the pre-recorded presentation by Valerie Adams, who leads the Dimension Band, one of the most sought after bands in and out of the United States. Many of us have been graced by her performances at various venues and events. So without further ado, let's turn our attention as she performs The Power of a Dream.
Deep within each heart, there lies a magic spark that lights the fire of our imaginations. And since the dawn of man, the strength of just I can has brought together people of all nations. There's nothing ordinary in the living of each day. There's a special part that every one of us will play. Feel the flame forever burn, teaching lessons we must learn to bring us closer to the power of the dream. And as the world gives us its best to stand apart from all the rest, it is the power of the dream that brings us here. Your mind will take you focus on your own creation. And every boy and girl as they come into this world, they bring the gift of hope and inspiration. Feel the flame forever, teaching lessons we must learn to bring us closer to the power of the dream. The world unites in hope and peace. We pray that you will always be. It is the power of the dream that brings us peace. There's so much strength in all of us, every woman, child, and man. It's the moment that you think you can't, you discover that you can. Forever, but teaching lessons we must learn to bring us closer to the power of the dream. The world unites in hope and peace. We pray that you will always lead. It is the power of the dream that brings us here. Feel the flame forever burn, teaching us we must learn to bring us closer to the power of the dream. The world unites in hope and peace. We pray that you will always be. It is the power of the dream that brings us power of the dream. The things I see, the courage to embrace your dream. No matter where you are, to reach for your star, to realize the power of the dream, to realize the power of the
Ladies and gentlemen, now we will begin the swearing in of the members of the board. County Clerk Christopher Durkin will read the certificates of election to the members of the board.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and Happy New Year. Let me just say that it is inspiring to hear the words and witness the actions of Governor Murphy, of County Executive Joe DiVincenzo, and Chairman Leroy J. Jones. I would like to also congratulate and thank the voters of Essex County who broke a record when 341,311 voters cast a ballot at the November 3rd, 2020 general election. In doing so, the voters elected 9 members of the Essex County Board of Commissioners, giving them the opportunity, the privilege to serve the people. It is my honor to certify this election. Statement of the determination of the Board of Canvassers relative to an election held in the County of Essex on the 3rd day of November in the year of our Lord 2020 for the election of Board of County Commissioner for the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, for the ensuing term according to law. The said Board of Canvassers do determine that at the said election, County Commissioner at Large Patricia Siebold, County Commissioner at Large Rufus I. Johnson, County Commissioner at Large Brendan W. Gill, County Commissioner at Large Romaine Graham, County Commissioner District 1 Robert Mercado, County Commissioner District 2 Wayne L. Richardson, County Commissioner District 3 Tashami L. Cooper, County Commissioner District 4 Leonard Luciano, County Commissioner District 5 Carlos M. Pomares were duly elected. Board of County Commissioner I do hereby certify that the foregoing is a true and correct statement of the determination of the Essex County Clerk, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 6th day of January in the year of our Lord 2021. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, County Clerk Durkin. Next, I will now call upon Judge James Paganelli to administer the oath of office to the commissioners. Judge Paganelli.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, we're going to do this in mass, so if you all could, please raise your right hands. Now, you're all going to repeat after me, so I'll speak as slowly as I can, and I know it's going to be everybody at once, but that's okay. So I state your name.
I,
Patricia
Luciano,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state.
in the United States and this state.
I state your name again,
I, Patricia,
having been elected
having been elected
member of the Essex County Board of County Commissioners
member of the Essex County Board of County Commissioners
in and for the state of New Jersey,
in and for the state of New Jersey,
do solemnly promise and swear
do solemnly promise and swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all of the duties
perform all the duties
of member of the Essex County Board of County Commissioners
of member of the Essex County Board of County Commissioners
in and for the state of New Jersey,
in and for the state of New Jersey,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my abilities
and understanding.
and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
Madam Clerk, back to you.
And thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised that the commissioners will make their remarks later in the program. This concludes the swearing-in portion of the program. We will now begin with the 2021 organization meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now call the 2021 organization meeting of the Essex County Board of Commissioners to order. As chair, I will now call roll call. Commissioner Tashami Cooper. Here. Commissioner Gill.
Here.
Commissioner Graham. Here. Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Luciano.
Here.
Commissioner Pomares.
Here.
Commissioner Richardson.
Here.
Commissioner Sebald.
Here.
I certify that this meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. We will now proceed with the election of officers for 2021, and we will begin with nominations and the election of the president. Commissioners, The chair will now entertain nominations for the position of president of the board for 2021. The chair recognizes Commissioner Johnson.
Good afternoon and good evening to everyone. I hope everyone is staying safe. I would like to nominate Wayne Richardson for president of the Freeholder Board, of the Commissioners Board for the year of 2021. Wayne Richardson has displayed his leadership ability, and I know he recognizes that he is a voice of 8 others. So I have full confidence in him, and I'm going to support him, and we're going to work to do, because we have work to do in 2021. It's some heavy work because a lot of the repercussions from this pandemic, we'll be working very hard because all the people in our communities know us very well, so they will be calling us. So Wayne, congratulations. I know you're going to do a good job, and you have my support.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Do I have a second nomination for Commissioner Richardson as president? The chair recognizes Commissioner Sebold.
With great pleasure, I am pleased to second the nomination, the name of Wayne Richardson as the president of the Essex County Board of Commissioners. Wayne Richardson has an extensive background working with all the constituents of Essex County. He is president of Labor's Local 55, a residential construction union. He is the lead organizer representing an area that includes New Jersey, Delaware, New York City, and Long Island. His vast background in so many other areas makes him well prepared to be the president of the Essex County Board of Commissioners. Wayne Richardson always cares about what matters to the residents he represents. He brings a diverse knowledge to this government, and that is why I consider it a pleasure to second the nomination of Wayne Richardson as president of the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Sebold. Are there any other seconds for the nomination of Commissioner Richardson as president? Seeing none, commissioners, I have a motion from Commissioner Cooper and a second from Commissioner Gill to close the nomination for president. Commissioners, on the motion to close the nomination for president, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Seeing none, the motion and the nominations for commissioner president are now closed. The chair will now call the roll call for the election of commissioner president for 2021. Commissioners, since there is only one nominee, please say either yes or no when your name is called. Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes.
Commissioner Pomares.
Yes.
Commissioner Sebold.
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes.
The vote being 9-0 in the affirmative, Commissioner Richardson, let me be the first to call you Mr. President for 2021.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I will ask Judge Paganelli to administer the oath of office to the Commissioner President.
Mr. President, can you please raise your right hand? I state your name.
I, Wayne Richardson,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States and in this state.
established in the United States and this state.
I state your name.
I, Wayne Richardson,
having been elected President of the Board of County Commissioners
having been elected President of the Board of County Commissioners
in and for the state of New Jersey,
and for the state of New Jersey,
do solemnly promise and swear
do solemnly promise and swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all of the duties of President of the Board of County Commissioners
to perform all the duties of President of the Board of County Commissioners
in and for the state of New Jersey,
in and for the state of New Jersey,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, Mr. President. Mr. President, would you like to give your remarks at this time?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Clerk, to Governor Murphy, County Exec Joe DiVincenzo, constitutional officers, my fellow commissioners, elected officials, and all who are assembled in our viewing audience. Good evening. I am honored and humbled to accept the office of President to this board. I am thankful for the ability to serve, and I especially thank the constituents in District 2 who voted in November. If recent events have taught us nothing else, we should all be reassured that every vote counts, from the local level to the national level. I do not take your vote lightly, and I am committed to serve in your interest. To my colleagues on the board who have entrusted me with the awesome task of leading this legislative branch of government, as well as Commissioners Johnston and Sebo for your nomination. I thank you and appreciate your vote of confidence. To outgoing President Gill, I thank you for your unwavering leadership. It has been my privilege to serve alongside you as Vice President, and I can honestly say I learned a lot from you, and I want you to know that I appreciate your friendship and your professionalism. To County Exec DiVincenzo, I thank you for your stellar management of the day-to-day business of the county, which is proven through the many accomplishments we have seen and support. I look forward to continuing a seamless relationship of good governance, focused on the best interests of the people of Essex County. Thank you again. 2020 has been a challenging year, to say the least, but together we have championed in simultaneous obstacles, many simultaneous obstacles: a global pandemic, racial injustice, civil unrest, a corrupt leadership on a national level that has proven to be of no benefit to our nation. Many families are mourning, having lost loved ones to the pandemic. Many more are suffering from economic and food insecurities. And most children have had to adjust to education without the daily in-person interaction with teachers and friends. This board, along with the county exec and the administration, has risen to the occasion and worked to meet those challenges. We have responded to our residents and acted responsibly with the COVID-19 relief bill funding, availing Essex County with testing, food distribution, and PPE, and most recently with the opening of vaccination sites. We have supported Essex County municipalities by providing a broad scope of updated COVID-19 related data on the county's website, and we supported legislation to maintain housing through a moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. As you can see, the Essex County Board of Commissioners is a diverse board, representative of the diversity of our county. Yet, we have been sensitive to systemic racial injustice by calling for support of Black Lives Matter and supporting Juneteenth as a holiday. We have supported policy to improve police and community relations. We opposed the transferring of ICE detainees and supported the elimination of private for-profit prisons in New Jersey. Admittedly, these are areas of continued concern. These are areas where more conversations and more collaboration must take place. Yes, 2020 was a year like no other, but we are poised in 2021 to continue our valuable work for the residents of Essex County. To Chairman Jones, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I remember that day as if it were yesterday in East Orange, behind headquarters, having that conversation with you. And fast forward, here we are. And I appreciate you asking me and just having a confidence in me to be a part of this board, and especially to ascend to leadership. I also want to thank the other part of the Jones team, Jackie Jones, who is a friend, and she nudges me and whispers in my ear and make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So I want to take my hat off to Jackie as well. Teamwork, Team Jones. To Governor Murphy, thank you for your leading the state and helping Essex County secure the necessary resources to help combat this horrific virus. Thank you to the administration, the division and department heads, and all the county workers who put the time and effort in so that this board can confidently, seamlessly affirm the resolutions and contracts that are presented, knowing that due diligence has been exercised in the preparation process. To my family and friends, I thank you for your love and your support. To my wife, Antoinette, who you see beside me right now, who I couldn't do what I do on a daily basis without her support and understanding. I bounce ideas off her. She tell me when I'm crazy, when it doesn't make sense. No, you can't say that. No, when you can't do that. So I depend on her. She is my rock. She's my ride or die, period. And that, I'll leave that there. I love this woman. I also want to thank the mayors of my district, District 2, who always make themselves available to work collaboratively on common goals. First, I want to thank my mayor, Newark Mayor Raz J. Baraka, and my friends, Irvington Mayor, Mayor Tony Voss, and Maplewood Mayor Frank McGahee. As president of Labor's Local 55 and organizer for the Labor's Eastern Region Organizing Fund, I work to bring employment and training opportunities to underrepresented workers from my own community. This is well with me that both my service as a union leader and my work as a public servant help me to improve the well-being of working people. Many of us are happy to leave 2020 behind, but we must continue the many efforts that we started in 2020. It will take all of us working together to flatten the curve, overcome one of the greatest threats to humankind, the coronavirus pandemic. Let us continue to hold each other accountable as we wash our hands, social distance, wear our masks, test regularly, and as soon as possible, get vaccinated. I am encouraged as we in Essex County are prepared to combat these and future challenges. In closing, although our titles of commissioners are new, our heartfelt for the people continue to grow, as well as our level of commitment. Once again, I thank each of you and look forward to a productive year. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your remarks. Commissioners, the chair will now entertain nominations for the position of Vice President of the Board for 2021. The chair recognizes Commissioner Gill.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and Happy New Year to all that are watching and to all of my colleagues. It is my distinct honor and privilege to nominate my friend, Commissioner Carlos Palmares, to serve as Vice President of this board. And I would be remiss, I'm sorry, congratulations, Commissioner President Richardson, on your swearing in as well. I'll speak a little bit about each of those of my colleagues a little bit later in the program during my opportunity to make remarks. So I'll try to keep this part brief. But Commissioner Palmares, we started as when you called, I was honored when you reached out and asked me to nominate you. As you reminded me, we started a good run many years ago upon your first election to the Bloomfield Council. I was honored to be with you during those elections, to be a part of those swearing-in ceremonies with you and your family. And I couldn't be more thrilled to have been asked today to nominate you to serve as this board's vice president. You have distinguished yourself in these last 3 years on our board with your enthusiasm, your hard work and dedication, and particularly during this pandemic. Commissioner Palmares makes it a point to be at all of our food distribution events, which is no small thing, to be able to make that time for 9 straight months and be there each and every week, not only to assist and volunteer with the activity, but also to bring a spirit to the event that is infectious and that I think we all benefited from over the last year. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your commitment to that and your commitment to this board. So again, honored and distinct, and look forward to supporting you and your leadership, and couldn't think of a better person to serve as our vice president. And also, I believe will make history today. I believe, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I do believe that Commissioner Palmares will be the first Latino to serve in a leadership of this board in the county's history. And I think that's something that we can all be prideful of and take some pride in. I know that I do. And I couldn't be, again, more honored to be a part of making that history with you tonight. Looking forward to casting that yes vote. All the best, Commissioner Palmares, to you and your family.
Thank you, Commissioner Gill. Do I have a second for the nomination of Commissioner Palmares as Vice President? The chair recognizes Commissioner Mercado.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and good evening to everyone viewing tonight's ceremony. It is my distinct honor to second the nomination of my friend, mi hermano and colleague, Commissioner Carlos Palmares, for Vice President of the Essex County Board of Commissioners for 2021. Commissioner Palmares has distinguished himself as a professional, has a strong track record of service and support for many issues. His interests and values are centered around community service, and he is guided by the reverence for history and the importance of it to our future. Carlos grew up in Union City, but his adopted hometown and the place he calls home is Bloomfield, New Jersey. Prior to joining the board, Carlos served as the town council of Bloomfield, where he spearheaded the passage of an ordinance declaring the Marsh Canal a local landmark. He's also advocated for the creation of Canal Park and supported the ongoing restoration of the 19th century Collins House. He's also been a staunch supporter of the Essex County Historical Societies. Additionally, he's the founder of the Bloomfield Cruisers, a nonprofit vintage automobile organization that supports various local charities. Commissioner Palmares is a fixture at our Essex County food distribution events, community bike rides with local Bloomfield Police Departments, and other events that foster inclusion and community service. Personally, I am so proud to be associated with my good friend, and the knowledge that he has enjoyed I've enjoyed his friendship during our time together on the board. It is my honor to nominate and wholeheartedly endorse Carlos to serve as a vice president for 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other seconds for the nomination of Commissioner Pomares? Seeing none, Commissioners, I have a motion from Commissioner Graham and a second from Commissioner Johnson to close the nomination for Commissioner Vice President. Commissioners, on the motion to close the nomination for Commissioner Vice President, all in favor, please signify by saying aye when I call your name.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. The motion carries, and the nomination for Commissioner Vice President are now closed. The chair will now call the roll for the election of the Commissioner Vice President for 2021. Commissioners, since there is only one nominee, please say either yes or no when your name is called. Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Commissioner Gill?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado?
Yes.
Commissioner Pomares?
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel?
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson?
Yes.
So moved. The vote being 9-0 in an affirmative, Commissioner Pomares, let me be the first one to congratulate you and call you Mr. Vice President for 2021. Congratulations. I will ask Judge Paganelli to administer the oath of office to the Commissioner Vice President.
Sir, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Carlos M. Pomares,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States and in this state.
in the United States and in this state.
I state your name,
I, Carlos M. Pomares,
having been elected Vice President of the Board of County Commissioners
Vice President to the Essex County Board of Commissioners
in and for the State of New Jersey,
in and for the State of New Jersey,
do solemnly promise and swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of Vice President of the Board of County Commissioners
of Vice President of the Essex County Board of Commissioners
in and for the State of New Jersey,
in and for the State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my abilities
and understanding. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, Mr. Vice President. Would you like to give your remarks at this time?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. To Governor Murphy, County Executive Joe DiVincenzo, constitutional officers, my fellow commissioners, elected officials, my family, and to all who are watching live stream, good evening. It is with great humility and honor that I accept the nomination to serve as Vice President of this board in 2021. I'd like to thank and congratulate my fellow board members, Commissioners Johnson, Siebold, Graham, Cooper, Luciano, Gill, Mercado, and President Richardson on being sworn in for another term as county commissioners. This opportunity to represent our communities is a challenge we have all embraced. I've learned from each of you, and while observing all of your hard work and dedication you displayed during our time on the board, I've learned a tremendous amount. These lessons have made me a better legislator, a better person, and I thank each of you for helping me develop and grow as a public servant. I want to add a few things about some of the individuals that have been very influential. All of the 8 colleagues of mine have been very important. Pat Siebold, to our most senior tenured member on this board, one of the first to really take me under her wing. What a great sense of history, well-versed in what goes on in the agenda and in county and in politics. She's shown me a great deal and pushed me a little bit for running for vice president, took a little nudging, and thank you, Pat. You're a wonderful person and a mentor to me. Romaine Graham, who always comes with a big, warm hug and a smile and affection. The only downside for us this year was our Dallas Cowboys. Well, we got to do better next year. But her enthusiasm is very infectious, and we're all better because of it. To Len Luciano, who could always make me laugh, no matter what the circumstances are. And it's a good trait to be able to, at times, take a break from the seriousness of what goes on and just kind of reflect, and perhaps making me laugh at times. Lenny, thank you so much for just kind of bringing that down at times. To Commissioner Cooper, for always asking those hard questions at the meetings and nudging for more information, being well prepared. Very inspiring to do that, keeps everybody on their toes, including myself. Thank you. And to Commissioner Johnson, who's the guy who pinned me when I became freeholder years back, 3 years ago, came to Bloomfield to share in that special celebration with me. I'm very honored to do that, to have had him there and to have known him for quite a few years before that as well. Thank you. I offer special congratulations and well wishes to our new president, Wayne Richardson. It's been a pleasure to serve alongside with you for the past 3 years, and I know together we'll make a good Batman and Robin team, I hope. I guess I'm the Robin here, so we'll make a good time at it, infuse humor when necessary, but of course, as always, we take the job very serious because this is a lot of work, and the pandemic, by no stretch of the imagination, is over. So I really look forward to working with you, my brother. To outgoing President Gill, your leadership has been extraordinary during the time of adversity. You've been able to manage some very difficult storms prior to the pandemic and during. And I'm very honored to have served on this board during your tenure. And it's been quite a lesson to learn. I appreciate the way you manage the business of this board during very difficult times. More importantly, at times for me personally, that you've been there for me when I was a councilman in Bloomfield, helping me to endorse some of the projects that were mentioned earlier by Commissioner Mercado that were very important to me at a time where they didn't have any traction. You lended a significant voice to it. And for that, I'm very grateful to you. You swore me in twice as councilman of Bloomfield, and I'm indebted to you, and I appreciate your genuine friendship. To my hermano, Commissioner Mercado, who, when we talked about this role, we both agreed it was of significance, great significance, that we had Latino representation on this board because none had ever existed in leadership. And what a treasure it is to know Bobby Mercado. He's a terrific man, family man. We have so much in common. I haven't found anything that we don't have in common yet, except for maybe baseball teams, but that's for another day. And dominoes, perhaps, but that's for another time. Terrific man who has had a difficult year, like many of us, and remained committed to this board, committed to all of us as individuals and as a group. Never once hesitated to take a call, and always offer some solid advice. So, Bobby, thank you for a tremendous friendship and what we have. I'm very grateful to you for that. I also want to thank the residents of District 5, which is Montclair, Nutley, Glen Ridge, Belleville, and of course my hometown of Bloomfield. To my hometown, I want to thank you because without your support, I would not be here today. A special thanks to my good friend, Mayor Mike Venezia, who I started my political career with, and to council members Davis, Rockwell, Gamble, Cruz, Mundell, Joanno, and the entire Bloomfield Democratic County Committee. They have been a terrific arm and really a part of the renaissance that's been going on in Bloomfield for quite some time. And they have a lot to be very proud of, and I'm indebted to all of you for the support you've given me consistently over the years. Governor Murphy, thank you for leading the entire state and helping us as county leaders, helping us to help our residents through this COVID-19 pandemic. The time of uncertainty has really rocked people to their core, and your steadfast leadership has been certainly welcomed by our leadership here in Essex County, and we greatly appreciate it. To Essex County Chairman Leroy Jones and Vice Chair Teresa Ruiz, thank you for your friendship, for always believing in me, and for all the support throughout the years. Before we can become government officials, we have to go through the political process, and what a political process it is, and a smooth operation. And the hardest thing, I think, for any political organization is finding common ground with all of our members, and that we do. Even if we disagree from time to time, we agree the mission at hand is always greater than our individual wants and needs. And so thank you, Chairman, and Vice Chair, for terrific leadership that you've given us. It's been a real lesson in politics. To the County Executive, Joe DiVincenzo, I want to thank you for your leadership and for your management of our county, not only over the years, but especially through the challenges of 2020. This extremely hard period of COVID-19 has been a challenge to all of us as county officials, but we never wavered. You were determined to continue providing our residents with the services that they were accustomed to receiving. Additionally, under your leadership, we also provided our residents with much needed relief in the form of a weekly food distribution, easy, accessible information about COVID testing, and now, of course, the vaccination centers. It is truly a marvel to watch you work. And while you always are the first to give credit to the entire team, you are deserving of an extreme amount of credit for your leadership during this extremely difficult time. How lucky are we to have someone like you at the helm? I cannot also forget the people who work always behind the scenes, the entire commissioner staff here. You see our clerk, and you don't see all the other people who are working behind the scenes who make this look somewhat easy for us. They work very dedicated and very diligently to make us look the best we can and to make us run as smoothly as possible. To my aides, Christine, and in particular to my friend Louis Felix, who has been with me since the first thought of running for office started many, many years ago. What a terrific community serviceman Louis is. And my friends in the G&O crew, the Bloomfield Cruisers, and my way back network, people who don't care to admit how long we've known each other because we're getting up there in years. To my family, my parents who regrettably aren't here today. How lucky am I that the son of a political prisoner could be here before you today, especially on what was a very dark day today in Washington, D.C., that I can serve. They really took it on the chin for someone like me to be able to be here. To my sisters who work very diligently as well. I hope my sister as a nurse is able to carve out a little bit of time to watch her little brother, sit here before you today. To my wife, Natasha, and my son, Carlitos, and Felicita and Mario, who you saw earlier, who are always very proud of their dad and their husband, and always with me by their side. And thanks to them, because when I'm not here, it's at their expense most of the time. Lastly, it wouldn't be me if I didn't address the history being made today as I embark as vice president. As I take this office, I realize that I am the first Hispanic to hold leadership role in this long-established board, formerly known as freeholders, when you were required to be free and hold land. It is an honor that I cherish and I take very serious, as it took many Latinos before me to help pave that path. And I pledge to help pave that way for others into the future, just like the elders have done for me. In closing, thank you for the trust you've placed in me. I look forward to a much better 2021 and for uplifting the spirits and the people of the community of Essex County. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your remarks, Mr. Vice President. I would like now to call on the at-large commissioners to make their remarks. beginning with our longest-serving commissioner, Commissioner Patricia Sewell.
Today, it is a great honor and a privilege to be elected for the 2021 term as a member of the Essex County Board of Commissioners. I am pleased to have been selected to work along with our excellent commissioners. Thank you to the clergy who were here with us today, including my rabbi at Temple B'nai Abraham, David Weisberg. Thank you to all the elected officials who have joined us today, our Governor, Phil Murphy, Essex County Executive Joe DiVincenzo, and our Essex County Democratic Chair, Leroy Jones. Another thank you to the clerk, to the Board of Commissioners, Deborah Davis Ford, the Deputy Clerk, Debbie Marvel, and the entire commissioner staff who work so hard for us every day. I first became a commissioner in 1993, so I have served for 27 wonderful years. I love every minute of it. I retired from teaching after being employed by the West Orange school system for 30 years. I loved every minute of that also. I obtained great satisfaction about doing everything I can to help the citizens of Essex County. I served under our current county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, when he was president of the Freeholder Board. He became a freeholder 3 years before I did. So he beats me by 3 years. Since he has become the county executive, I and the other commissioners have had the opportunity to work with him as a legislative branch of government to improve the lives of the residents of Essex County. We have worked so hard to create much progress in many areas. Our roads and bridges have been modernized. We have many new buildings and some being created right now. New and improved parks, new hospital center, and the list goes on and on. Turtleback Zoo has more visitors now than in the history of the zoo. Essex County, under the county executive's leadership, has become a desirable destination for people around the state. From an economic point of view, our bond rating has reached the highest level possible. Our incoming revenue is excellent and our financial position is stabilized. I remember when we had a serious deficit. Hopefully we can survive the pandemic without a serious financial problem. The entire Essex County Board of Commissioners must work together to provide the best quality of life for all. We live in one of the most diverse areas in the state, and we must work for all people. I am pleased and thrilled to continue as an Essex County Commissioner with an outstanding group of people. To quote the famous Elie Wiesel, a Romanian-born American Jewish writer, professor, political activist, poet laureate, and Holocaust survivor, we must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. The opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. There may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sewell, for those remarks. Next, I invite Commissioner Rufus I. Johnson to give remarks.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First, I want to congratulate President Wayne Richardson of the Commissioner Board and Carlos Palmares. But I'd like to give a special thank you to Brendan Gill. Brendan Gill, we go back a long, long way, a very long way. And it has been an honor to work with you, with your professionalism as you did, being the president. And I'll always work with you, and you know that, because you know we have things in common, and it's great to have someone like you. Leroy Jones, now the chairman, I want to thank you, because without you, it wouldn't have been a me here. And I appreciate your confidence and letting me do the things that I like to do the way I like to do them. You know, they ain't always the greatest, but they're the little things that really help people and make people's lives better. Those are the things that I focus on, because that's the kind of community I come from. And to my wife, my two gorgeous daughters that have grown up very well here in this community. They, you know, a lot of people say, hey, you could have moved and you could have raised them anywhere else, but no, it's no place like Newark, no place like Essex County, because Essex County is it. And Joe D, he got off the line. I'm sorry he got off the line, but I would like to say that under his leadership, Essex County is the best county, I'd say, in the United States. I can't just say in the state of New Jersey. I got to say the United States, because he is a very progressive individual and he's doing some very progressive things. Thank you to the rest of my crew. I've watched all you guys come in. Carlos, Robert, Lenny Luciano, Romaine, Tasmane. I've watched all of you guys come in and I've seen the impact that you have brought right away. And it's a pleasure for me to work with you. And any knowledge that I can give you from my old head, because, you know, I'm an old head, right? You know, y'all probably say that on the side anyway. You know, yeah, Rufus is the old head. But any knowledge I can give you from my perspective, you know, I'm always open to sit down and talk to you and give you whatever you need that I think you need. So the administration, Michael Palavecchio, Francis McInerney, Robert Jackson, you guys have been great. You have been great. You do a great job, and you help us to make the right choices and the right decisions on things we like to do. So I want to thank you guys personally, because, you know, you guys know I call on you guys a lot about different things, and you'll tell me if it's the right way to go or if it's the wrong way to go. So thank you very much. So other than that, it's a pleasure to be here for 2021, and I'm willing to work and do what I have to do to help keep Essex County being first. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, for your remarks. Next, we will have remarks from Commissioner Brendan Gill.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Again, Happy New Year and congratulations to all the members of the board. If you would indulge me, I do have some prepared remarks that I'd like to deliver. And I know the hour is getting late. We'd like to move the program along, but I just felt really compelled to put something together that, with your permission, Mr. President, that I share with the board. Of course, to our governor, to our county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, of course, to our Democratic Party Chairman, Leroy Jones, and Leroy, thank you so much for those words. They really do mean the world to me, and none of this is possible without great political leadership and support, and you provide that each and every day, so thank you. To all of our constitutional officers and fellow commissioners, again, Happy New Year, and it's great to be with you. To Commissioners Johnson, Siebold, Cooper, Graham, Luciano, and Mercado, I appreciate each and every one of you, our personal relationship, and your support over the last 3 years. To put it lightly, it's been they say, may you live in interesting times. I think that's in the last 3 years for sure, across many issues, challenged this board, I think, in ways that we have not seen before. And I could not have done it without each of you being there with me every step of the way. So please know that I consider you all friends. I respect each and every one of you, and I'm proud to have been able to serve as your president. I want to say special thanks and congratulations to our new commissioner president, Wayne Richardson, as well as our new vice president, Carlos Pomares. Both of you are dear friends, as well as colleagues, and I look forward to what you're going to bring to the table and serving with you in 2021. President Richardson, during your time on this board, you have been steadfast in fighting for the rights and well-being of working class citizens. Whether you are insistent and demanding that the parks that you represent and the roads that you represent in your district or in all of Essex County are properly maintained, or holding each and every meeting prospective county vendors accountable for providing working opportunity to Essex County residents, you have proven that the residents of Essex County are your most pressing concern. You have earned the right to lead this board, I thank you for our time together as president and vice president. You have been a tremendous help and a tremendous supporter, and I cannot thank you enough. So I wish you the best of luck in leading us into 2021. To Vice President Pomaris, I offer my sincere congratulations to you as well. As you mentioned, we've known each other for quite some time, and I've always appreciated your willingness to work on issues with me collaboratively. Since your election to the board, you have consistently been visible at events throughout the county. I mentioned this, your presence, and you've done so much more than this, but I believe your presence at our emergency food distribution events, our charity events for seniors, our park dedications, and other community events are all examples of the type of enthusiasm that you bring and will continue to bring to uplifting all people in all of our communities. You're a natural leader, and your leadership qualities will serve you well in this position. I appreciate you recognizing the fact that we've been able to collaborate together early on in your career, but that was easy. You work on issues that I know so many of us care about. And one of the reasons that you are a great leader is that you reach out and try to build coalitions to get things done. And I've been proud to be a part of anything that you've asked me to do. So I look forward to continuing that support. To our county executive, thank you for all that you've done in leading us forward. You've created an environment that fosters a sense of team and togetherness as the board and this administration has worked together on behalf of the citizens of Essex County. Without question, 2020 was a year that presented us with unprecedented challenges. As we reflect on the past year, we should be proud of the obstacles we overcame and optimistic about what the future holds. 2020 will always be remembered for the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Tragically, Essex County was hit extremely hard and tallied more COVID-19 positive cases and deaths than any other county in the state. All over the world, every aspect of our life has been directly affected by this horrible virus. And in an effort to provide relief, federal and state agencies marshaled their resources to try to aid our communities in need. But it was really the local governments, in my opinion, particularly at the county and the municipal level, that played the largest role in trying to deal with this pandemic for our people. Through the hard work of this board and led by our administration and our county executive, we were able to establish, as been noted, weekly food distribution events, easily accessible COVID testing, and additionally, as of late December, I think we are all proud of the effort this county has put together to be on the forefront of the delivery of our vaccines. I'm very, very proud of these initiatives and equally proud of the board's tangible accomplishments over the last 3 years. During this time, over the last 3 years, this board has also accomplished some other noteworthy things. We banned smoking in county parks. We wrote legislation to make county roads to be in compliance with our complete street regulation. In particular, and we'll see the benefits of this year, we mandated the use of voting machines to utilize hand-marked paper ballots. We made sure to allocate the most money ever in the history of this county for the legal services of ICE detainees held in our Essex County Correctional Facility. And last but certainly not least, we created the first ever, without a court order, and in collaboration with this administration, a creation of a independent civilian task force to work and improve the conditions that exist in our correctional facility. Those are just a few things that I want the board to know that I am very proud of, but none of that is possible without the support in each and every one of you. And I look forward to collaborating with you, President Richardson, and the entire board on many, many more of these issues as we head into 2021. I'd be remiss, and I'm going to put the plug in now, Commissioner Richardson and Commissioner Pomaris. You know how I feel about that Essex Hudson Greenaway. And if there's one thing that I want to get done over the next few years is the completion of that project. I think it could be a crowning jewel for all of us in Essex County to be proud of. So, with what's going on today nationally, which I'm sure we all observed, what this is to me is the peaceful transition of power, what should happen and what can happen. So although these are very, very potentially dark times nationally right now, I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful because I get to work each and every day with public servants like you, public servants who are committed to the greater public good and get up each day with one thing in mind and one thing in mind only, their constituents. So, Madam Clerk, again, Mr. President, thank you. Thank each and every one of my board members for the opportunity to serve, to our team, the clerk, Mr. McInerney, of course, Mr. Jackson, our county administrator, Mr. Parlavecchio, Courtney, the whole team. Thank you so much for everything that you've done over the last 3 years to help us navigate some incredibly difficult issues. I hope for the new leadership that you have, not that you shouldn't have challenging issues, but I hope maybe you have just a little easier 3-year term than necessarily that Wayne and I had to deal with. But in all seriousness, I know no matter what's going to be thrown your way, I am fully confident that you're going to be able to deal with it. And I look forward to working with each of you over the next 3 years. All the best.
Thank you for your remarks, Commissioner Gill. We will now have remarks from Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Clerk. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank God. I'd like to thank our Essex County Chairman, the Honorable Leroy Jones, for your leadership, your support, your guidance, and I can't forget your beautiful wife, Jackie Jones. Thank you for your continued support as well. I also like to take this opportunity to thank the County Executive, Joe D., for your leadership and support. The County Clerk, Chris Durkin, thank you for your support. I want to thank my colleagues, the Essex County Commissioners. Thank each and every one of you for your support, your willingness to work with me, and accepting me to the board. I'd like to thank Brendan Gill and Wayne Richardson for your leadership, support, and guidance that you assisted me with. There's an opportunity for me to grow here with all of you as we work together as a team. We can learn together, we can grow together. We will keep pushing the county executive motto of putting Essex County first. I'd also like to thank my mother, my children, and my entire family and friends for your unwavering love and support always. Team Irvington Strong, thank you also for your support always. As I close, I also want to give a special thanks to my Democratic chairwoman, the Honorable Basima Beasley, and of course, my mayor, the Honorable Tony Voss. I thank you for putting your faith in me, and I assure you that I will work hard not to let you down. Thank you so much for this opportunity, for your support, and having faith in me. Good night, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Graham, for your remarks. Now we will hear from our district commissioners. First, District 1, Commissioner Mercado.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Happy New Year, everyone. To Governor Murphy, County Executive Joe DiVincenzo, Essex County Democratic Chair Leroy Jones, the constitutional officers, my fellow commissioners, elected officials, invited guests, family, friends, and all the viewers at home, good evening. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today as I take the oath for another term as District 1 representative on the Essex County Board of Commissioners. I congratulate my fellow commissioners Sebo, Johnson, Graham, Luciano, Cooper, and Gill on being sworn in for another term, and join them in renewing our commitment to serve the citizens of Essex County. To the new president, Wayne Richardson, thank you for your commitment and your dedication to this board. Through your hard work, you have earned the respect of your colleagues throughout Essex County and New Jersey. I offer you congratulations, well wishes as you lead us forward into 2021. To our Vice President, Carlos Palmeras, I offer congratulations and well wishes in your new leadership role. As the first Latino on the board, on the executive leadership of this board, I am extremely proud of you and your accomplishments. As I stated previously, you have a strong track record of service in the community, and we all have benefited from your presence. I value our personal relationship, our working relationship, and I look forward to continue our time together on the board. To our outgoing president, Brendan Gill, thank you for your steadfast and resolute leadership during these unprecedented times. Unprecedented times is an understatement. Through your actions, you have demonstrated a profound commitment to the citizens of Essex County. And I want to thank you for your friendship and for your support during your term. I also want to thank the board clerk, Deborah Davis Ford, deputy clerk, Deborah Marvell, and the entire county commissioner office staff for all the work that they do throughout. It is so much appreciated. With all the aspects of life in 2020, the impact of COVID-19 presented serious challenges to the leadership of Essex County. And it's during these extraordinary times that we have witnessed the outstanding leadership of our county executive, Joe DiVincenzo Jr. Joe brought together the mayors, legislators, and all the elected officials throughout the county to implement strategies and deliver vital services and provide relief to residents in need during this pandemic. Thank you, Joe, for your tireless commitment to the citizens of Essex County and for continuing to put Essex County first. 2020 would always be remembered for the onset of COVID-19 pandemic, but it was also a great year for the Democratic Party throughout the nation and specifically here in Essex County. Thank you, Chairman Jones, for your leadership and all that you do for the entire Essex County Democratic delegation. I tell my friends, when it comes to politics and government, wherever New Jersey goes, Essex County will lead the way. As a Newark native and the District 1 Commissioner, the community of Newark has always held a special place in my heart. I am a proud member of the North Ward Democratic Committee, and I'd like to thank our leadership, Chairman Samuel Gonzalez, the Honorable Aníbal Ramos Jr., Senator Teresa Ruiz, and Phil Alajra for all the support throughout my term. Unfortunately, this year has been a very difficult year for the North Ward Dems. We've lost 3 giants in our community: Octavio Tave Padilla, Carmen Vera Ramos, and just 2 days ago, Jesus Casiano Jr. We have stood on the shoulders and benefited from their hard work and sacrifice. And I can honestly say that I would not be here if it were not for these special leaders of our community. May they rest in peace. To my friends in the East and Central Wards, former Freeholder President Joseph Parvecchio, East Ward Chairman Angelo Di Federico, Assemblywoman Ileana Pintor-Marin, Central Ward Chairman Bishop Andre Spate, Assemblywoman Shanique Spate, and to all the captains, district leaders, and volunteers, thank you so much for all the efforts throughout the year. We appreciate, and I appreciate your support. Last but not least, I want to thank my family. And if anyone knows me, family comes first. To my parents, Jesus and Luz Maria Mercado, to my brothers, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-laws, my nieces, nephews, especially my wife, Janet. She is my inspiration. And this year, in a time of despair, she has just demonstrated her strong strength and resilience. And for that, I love you. And to all my children and my grandchildren, thank you so much for your unconditional love and support. And in closing, I want to leave you with a message that I recently received from a friend that really resonated with me. And it read, "Life is a gift. It offers us the privilege, the opportunity, and the responsibility to give something back and to become more." I want to thank each and every one of you. And may God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Mercado, for those remarks. Next, we will have remarks from Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chairman Jones, County Executive Joe D., fellow commissioners, family, and friends.
I am so humbled and honored to serve the residents of District 3 again. I am truly grateful and thankful for my reelection. And I want to thank the residents for their support and for coming out to vote for me. I want to thank Chairman Jones for his unwavering support of my reelection. I truly admire your leadership. I appreciate your counsel. And most of all, I cherish your friendship. You know, this past year or two have been really challenging, and I thank you so much for supporting me and continuing to be a part of this team. I want to thank the County Executive, Joe D, and his team. The administration has done a phenomenal job this past year, especially with the issues of COVID and all the things that come with it. And I support Chairman Jones and his comments that if New Jersey had a man of the year, I certainly think Joe D certainly would earn that recognition, because he has taken a very hard topic and has just spoke to people's needs and met people's concerns. And I truly thank the team that we have here in Essex County. We are truly, truly embodying putting Essex County first. And with Chairman Jones and Joe D and the administration and all the county employees, we have truly made very hard topics from food and COVID and vaccinations for people to become a little bit easier for us to deal with. And I appreciate all of your support. I want to thank Commissioner Gill and Commissioner Richardson for your leadership on the board. We have dealt with some tough topics, and you guys have always been responsive. You have served us with distinction and decorum, and I appreciate you always being there whenever any one of us have called upon you. I want to thank my fellow commissioners and congratulate all of you for your reelections. Together, we make a great team. It's really easy working with all of you because we have our desire to put the people's will first, to do a good job at the center of any and everything that we do. I want to thank my good friend, my sister, my ride or die, Teresa Pollard, for stepping up to the plate, making those phone calls, sending out those emails and texts. I really, really, really appreciate your support. I want to thank my aides for all their support during the campaign and the re-election. I want to thank the clerk's office and our freeholder commissioner staff. You all do such a fantastic job, and it always make us look really, really, really good. We have taken a topic and we have been able to bring government right to people using Zoom and go to meetings without any hiccups. And I appreciate all of your support and everything that you do, because you certainly make my job and the other commissioner's job look really easy. I want to thank my East Orange family, Mayor Green and his wife, and all of our delegates and district leaders stepped up to the plate. They stepped up and they showed out. When Chairman Jones called upon everybody, without a doubt, people stepped up and made those phone calls. And it's because of all of them that Essex County has delivered some of the historic victories that we did this past November. And Chairman Jones, I salute you and all the district leaders and everybody else in Essex County, because we certainly showed the world how we do it, despite all the craziness that's going on in Washington and some of the things that we're seeing today. We show people what it means to deliver good government day in and day out. And I am so proud to be part of our delegation. I want to thank my husband, my partner, who allows me to do the job that I do. If it were not for him, I really wouldn't be able to serve people the way that I do. And I thank him for stepping up and filling in whenever, there's something else that we have going on. And I appreciate that. I appreciate my kids for cooperating with me right now doing homeschool, because, it ain't easy, trying to balance all of that with Zoom and all this other stuff that I've had to learn how to do. So I appreciate them. 2020 was a challenging year and historic for a lot of different reasons. We've had Black Lives Matter. We've had COVID, we've had high crime and unemployment, and through it all, we've made it. And with all the craziness with the president in DC, who's absolutely shocked a lot of us, I didn't think it could get any worse and today just proved me wrong. But I appreciate that our democracy has stood strong. I appreciate that we stood up to the call and we made phone calls to remind people about the importance of sending in that ballot and getting out to vote. Because we realize that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And this past 2020, I'm reminded of a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King, who once said that we may have all come to this country in different ships, but right now, after all we've been through in 2020, we're all right now in the same boat. So I pray that God bless America, God bless this country, and that we all stay safe. Have a good new year, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooper, for your remarks. And finally, from District 4, we will have remarks from Commissioner Luciano.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Nothing like saving me till last. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but my rear end is killing me in this chair, so I'm going to try to expedite my remarks as quick as possible. First, congratulations to all the other 8 freeholders and to our county clerk, who also is on the ballot. You all won resoundingly with amazing pluralities, and I'm so happy to be a part of that. To our chairman, Leroy Jones Jr., the Honorable Leroy Jones Jr., thank you again for believing in me and letting me run under the banner of the Essex County Democratic Organization. That really means a lot to me. And I've been on this board 9.5 years. This is my 4th swearing-in ceremony. Yes, it's a little unique, and yes, it's different under the circumstances, but I am just so happy to be here today, and thank you for believing in me. Let me say to our clerk and staff, and that means all the staff, not just the folks that are there in and out every day, but to also our attorney, Michael Parlavecchio, and your team of attorneys, and to Frank McInerney, our business administrator and finance man. Thank you guys for all that you do and for dealing with everything under the last 9 months. These meetings and technology isn't easy, and we've had our hiccups, but we've always gotten our business done, and we move along, and I really am so thankful for what you put together tonight. All the text messages that I've been getting here tonight have been from members of the public, elected officials that have just said, your meeting is really great and wonderful, and thanks for having this swearing in the manner that you did. So thank you to you guys. To the members of the public, not just the ones that have voted for me countless times, but the ones that email me on a regular basis, those that call my office, that bring issues to my attention. Thank you, because I appreciate the vote, but I also appreciate you being my eyes and ears. I'm one person that represents 11 towns, but in reality, I represent 22 municipalities. I care about everyone in Essex County, and I appreciate everyone that reaches out to my office and contacts me and brings issues to my attention. To my opponents, this year, believe it or not, I had 2 opponents. I had one in the general election, and I had one in the primary election. I want to thank you for keeping me on the balls of my feet, for debating with me. Both of my opponents had a debate with me, a civil debate. I appreciate you bringing that to the forefront so that our members of the public can see what government and civics is all about. And thank you for putting your name on the ballot. To our outgoing president, Brendan Gill, we are very good friends, and you've been my ride or die. And I plan on continuing to be your friend and your colleague, and for us to move forward. I know that the last 3 years hasn't been, the spiciest of years as far as being the president, because you've taken your lumps and tomatoes with everything that we've had going on, but you've really handled it with care, and you've done an outstanding job, and I'm really proud of you, and I thank you for your leadership. To the incoming president, Wayne Richardson, you have been a champion, not just for the residents of Essex County, but for labor, and to make sure that our residents of Essex County are getting contracts and working for our vendors, and that you always make sure that we have an equal balance of Caucasian and minorities that are working for our vendors. I want to thank you for always standing up and being that champion, and I want to continue to work with you and be your friend. To our incoming Vice President, Carlos Palmares. Carlos, listen, I love you, and I think that you've done an amazing job this year, not just in your tenure as freeholder, but this year you have been at every press conference. You've been at every food distribution. You've been at every vaccination site.
And don't worry, listen, people out there are taking notice of the hard work that you have done as freeholder. So when you called me and asked me to support you, I couldn't be happier to say, yes, absolutely, I support you in leadership. And I think that you're going to be an excellent vice president. To our county executive, Joe D., Phil Elijah, his chief of staff, and to all the administration, what a wonderful group of people that we're partners with, that put in countless hours every day, that actually put their lives at risk, that many of them have also contracted COVID-19 because they were out there on the front lines. I'll say it. I said it to our chairman, Leroy Jones. I've said it to our governor. I've said it to everybody. If we ever had a man or woman of the year for 2020, that man would be Joseph DiVincenzo, because he puts in about 80 hours a week and he doesn't stop. And I really appreciate what he's done for our residents. And to everyone on this Zoom or Go meeting call, you're all my family. I wish you a happy and healthy new year. I'm so thankful to return for another 3 years. I look forward to working hard, although I will be the first to admit in the past, I've had some hiccups. Nobody's perfect. And in my personal life, I've had some challenges, but there's no doubt I've been a hardworking freeholder, and I will continue to do that for the next 3 years. And I look forward to being part of the Essex County Democratic Organization for the rest of my life. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you for your remarks, Commissioner Luciano. Well, it is now my pleasure to turn over the gavel to our newly elected Commissioner President Richardson for the remainder of the meeting. President Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I first want to start off like we do every meeting with a moment of silence for those folks who we've lost. Some of those people, all of the people who Commissioner Mercado spoke about, I knew, but Jesus was very personal, a personal friend of mine. So let's please have a moment of silence for everyone who was lost. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to public comment session on agenda items. However, since we are meeting remotely, the public had an opportunity to submit questions and comments for consideration and can also call in. At this portion of the meeting, the clerk will have additional instructions for our callers. Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, as you stated, the constituents were given the opportunity to call in or send in emails for public comment prior to the meeting. If you're calling in, the number is 855-756-7520. That's 855-756-7520. And use the password 70678#. That's 70678#. You will be acknowledged to speak in the order that your call was received. Emails received for public comment will be read after the calls are completed. At this time, our public information officer will announce the callers so they can state their comment or question, and be reminded you will have 3 minutes to speak. Please do not have on your laptop or any electronic device on while calling. At this time, we're only accepting calls pertaining to the agenda items. Later, at the second public comment in the meeting, those for non-agenda items will accept calls at that time. So at this point, I'm going to ask our public information officer if we have any calls in line.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chalo Malumba, Public Information Officer for the Essex County Board of Commissioners. We do have a caller waiting to speak. The first caller is Whitney Strube. Mr. Strube, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Hi, am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. My name is Whitney Strube. I live in the Ironbound in Newark, and I want to speak to resolution number 6, the 2021 temporary budget. I want to speak to that because our county continues to run on ICE blood money, as our own Senator Robert Menendez recently described it. And in all of the congratulations that I've heard in the last 2 hours on this call, I have not heard one reference to the hunger strike that's going on inside your jail by people detained by ICE right now, which is basically existing because of their suffering as part of your budget because you collaborate with ICE in 2021, which needs to stop. And so I have questions for the freeholders. These are questions for the record to which I'd like written responses, and these are not questions for Joe D, but rather specifically for the freeholders. Question 1, were you aware that Essex collaborates with ICE more than the next 20 counties combined, as the Attorney General's recent report revealed? And if so, when did you become aware of that? Question 2, do you approve of this collaboration with ICE, of holding people longer than you need to, and of turning them over to ICE for interrogations? 3, do you think that this collaboration with ICE is at all connected with your ICE contract? 4, do you think this collaboration with ICE benefits our immigrant communities? 5, do you plan any actions to stop this ICE collaboration now that it's been documented and reported to the public? 6, do you agree with Senator Robert Menendez that county contracts with ICE equal blood money, as many activists have said for the last several years? And most importantly, question 7, will you publicly demand the release of all hunger strikers in Essex County Correctional Facility to ICE, to Governor Murphy, and to the federal government at all levels? You know, this strike is national news. It's a disgrace that people who you are holding for profit are forced to resort to this. And finally, President Richardson, I want to congratulate you on your new position and remind you of a meeting we had with you in August of 2018 when you assured us that the conditions inside the facility were great. As we later learned, this came after the Department of Homeland Security inspection in July of 2018 that revealed spoiled meat and bloody chicken and mold and became national news. And so I think that does show that, you know, there's a long strain here of the activists for immigrant justice being correct on these issues and the freeholders, commissioners, being
30 seconds,
wrong.
Mr.
So
30 seconds.
I would like written responses to those questions. I would demand that you release all the hunger strikers, release everyone inside the jail, end the ICE contract, and also allow public comment by Zoom. It's very easy to do. This mechanism does not work. People who have tried to call in have been cut off, tried to recall, they can't get on. There's no reason that public comment cannot happen over Zoom. You're not going to be Zoom bombed. You can set the mechanisms to prevent that. Hudson County does it that way. Bergen County does it that way. This mechanism is not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next caller, we have another caller, Mr. Jay Arena. Mr. Arena, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
My name is Jay Arena. I live in Newark, New Jersey. And tonight, we've heard a lot of lofty language. We began with the governor talking about equity that he's concerned about in New Jersey and Essex County. We heard a lot of word about the diversity of our board. We heard from the outgoing board president about the oversight board that has been created. But above all, there was praise, adulation. Might we call it a super adulation for the county executive that I guess has had to leave our meeting, had to move on to some more important things. But there was the emphasis on how he puts Essex County first. Well, did anyone talk about how he has put Essex County first and by implication the freeholders by leading the state and handing over immigrants to ICE, the collaboration that the previous speaker spoke to? Did you speak about Essex County being first in the number of hunger strikers? Over 100 detainees at your ICE concentration camp are on a hunger strike. They're political prisoners. We heard about someone's father that was a political prisoner. Well, you got political prisoners in your ICE concentration camp that are on a hunger strike that are demanding their release. You need to end the ICE blood money contract now and release the freedom. We need immediate freedom for these courageous hunger strikers. Mr. Polmares talked about his family and the other mayor, Mr. Mercado, the love of his family. Well, what about the family members of those hunger strikers that are demanding their freedom, that want to unite with their families? They love their families. They care about their families. Where are your family values there? We demand that you immediately release the detainees and that you end this blood money contract that you have the power to end. That's putting Essex County first, not being first in the number of ICE hunger strikers. It's not being number one in handing over immigrants to ICE. It's ending this contract. That's the way you put Essex County first. That's the way you stand up to deportation, Joe
30
DiVincenzo.
seconds,
You
Mr.
use
Arena,
your
30
power
seconds.
to end this contract. And finally, we're not all in the same boat that another commissioner spoke to. The hunger strikers are not in the same boat of the billionaires that have made enormous profits off of this crisis. Instead of trafficking in human beings, instead of these blood money contracts to finance your budget, you need to tax the billionaire class, not traffic in human beings.
That is your time, Mr. Arena. Thank you. Madam Clerk, we do not have any more commenters for agenda items.
Okay, Mr. President,
Yes.
all of those comments will be responded to in writing, as is our policy. I do have a couple of public comments that we received by email. I will read them at this time. This one was submitted by Jeffrey Feld, Esquire of Short Hills, regarding ordinance 2020-00016. Dear Essex County Commissioners, I just want to make sure this is being timed. I respectfully request that this letter and exhibits be included in the January 6, 2021 official virtual reorganization meeting public record. I respectfully request confirmation of receipt and distribution of this letter exhibits to all commissioners prior to the virtual reorganization meeting. This letter incorporates and supplements all my earlier letters to the commissioners, including my July 8th, 2020, August 3rd, 2020, September 9th, 2020, October 19th, 2020, November 6th, 2020, and December 14th, 2020 letters. I respectfully request the following new agenda and non-agenda items be read into the virtual public record at the appropriate time and subject to the two separate amended time limitations. This is a very fluid, mysterious, and abnormal time. I assume that the commissioners and their council have actual and constructive knowledge of all post-December 15th, 2020 intervening case and tax exemption statutory law, including but not limited to that described in my attached post-December 21st, 2020 chronology of events. Since the last December 16, 2020 freeholder meeting, our state legislature enacted legislation buttressing my third-party taxpayer standing and 5% long-term tax exemption payment to the county legal arguments. A1135 reinstates nonprofit hospital real property tax exemptions if the hospital enters into a community service contribution agreement with the municipality and 5% of the community service contribution agreement revenues are paid to the county. A1135 would also prohibit individual third-party tax appeals. In addition, our state legislature acted A4 ACA R1 New Jersey Economic Recovery Act of 2020. This legislation buttresses my post-April 17th, 1992 non-urban renewal entity NJHMFA long-term tax exemptions invalidity legal argument. On page 66 of the proposed New Jersey Economic Recovery Act of 2020, our state legislator mirrored the state long-term tax exemption handbook issued on or about November the 18th, 2020, November 18th, 2002, and there are 30 seconds left to read this document, and omitted in the non-urban renewal entity NJHMFA long-term tax exemption from the proposed legislation. The time is up and the balance of this document will be read into the record at another time. And Mr. President, also this public comment via email will receive as our policy an answer in writing. And that is all for public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolutions. Please read resolution number 1. You are on mute.
Sorry about that. Resolution 1, Essex County Board of County Commissioners bylaws. And Mr. President, I believe an explanation can be given by our county council.
Yes. Mr. Polavecchio.
I'll step in on that one.
Please explain.
First, congratulations, commissioners. These are the bylaws that are the general operating rules, talking that the board will follow from year to year. It sets forth the rules for the meetings, rules for advertising meetings, and rules for special meetings, and general rules of deportments during those meetings. No changes from last year either.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments on resolution number 1? Hearing none, commissioners, I have a motion from Commissioner Cooper and a second from Commissioner Gill. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel.
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Let's move to resolution number 2. Madam Clerk, please read.
Resolution 2, annual schedule of meetings adoption. Mr. President, this is just the standard resolution for the schedule of the meetings for the year.
Commissioners, any questions or comments on resolution number 2? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Graham and a second from Commissioner Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Siebel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill.
You're muted.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes. Let's
So
move
moved.
to resolution number 3. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 3, official newspapers to receive public notices, designation, the Star Ledger, Star Ledger, North Jersey newspaper, Worrell Community newspapers, and local top weekly newspaper.
Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments on resolution number 3? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Luciano and a second from Commissioner Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes. Let's move to resolution. I'm sorry. You have to say.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolution number 4. Please read it.
Resolution 4, Cash Management Plan Designation of Depositories for 2021.
Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments on resolution number 4? Hearing none. Commissioners, I have a motion from Vice President Pomares and a second from Commissioner Siebel. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved. I'd like to ask someone to mute their mic. I hear conversations in the background.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolution number 5. Please read it.
Resolution 5, appointment of commissioner representatives to the New Jersey Association of Counties, NJAC, for 2021. And I believe, if I recall,
Thank you.
because I don't have it in front of me,
I have it.
Mr. President. You do? Okay.
I do. Commissioners, I'm appointing, reappointing Commissioner Gill to be the board's representative to NJAC, and Freeholder Johnston and myself will serve as alternates. Commissioners, any questions or comments on resolution number 5? Hearing none, Commissioners, I have a motion for Commissioner Cooper and a second from Commissioner Gill. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolution number 6. Please read it.
Resolution 6, 2021 temporary budget.
Mr. Jackson, please explain the resolution. You're on mute, sir.
Mr. Jackson, you're on mute.
There you go. Thank you. I was muted by the organizer, not on my end. Again, congratulations to the members of the board, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President. Looking forward to working with all of you going forward. Resolution 6 is our temporary budget, which the board adopts every year to get us through the first 3 months of the year. It complies with the statutory limitations of 26.25% of our adjusted budget. And again, it's pretty much a standard item that we do every year before the board reviews and passes, hopefully passes the ultimate budget in the not too distant future.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney?
Just to say that yes, I did review this resolution and also the schedules that back everything up on the resolution. As was said before, this is approximately 3 months worth of funding. Obviously, we're certain expenditures like debt service have to be paid on a certain date. We're obviously taking 26.25% of that. So there are some things that are budgeted in full. Other things are budgeted approximately for 1 quarter of the year.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on resolution number 6? Hearing none. I have a motion from Commissioner Graham and a second from Commissioner Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to the public comment session. On non-agenda items, however, since we are meeting remotely, the public had the opportunity to submit questions and comments for consideration. They also have the opportunity to call in. Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask our public information officer if we have any calls in queue.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Chala Malumba, Public Information Officer for Essex County Board of Commissioners. We do have a number of callers. I'll call them one at a time. As a reminder, for the callers who are waiting, you can hear me right now. Please make
We lost you, Chala.
We lost you.
Sorry. Please make sure you do not have the meeting on any cell phones, laptops, or any devices within earshot. There is a slight delay, so you cannot make comments and listen to the meeting on another device at the same time. So we will start with the speakers right now. The first speaker is Andrea De Hoyos. Ms. De Hoyos, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Thank you. Yes. Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Andrea De Hoyos. I wanted to congratulate Wayne Richardson and Carlos Pomares. I appreciate the efforts that all of you are making to keep the community well and thriving in these difficult times. I made comment and sent follow-up emails to the December 16 pre-holder meeting. Thank you, Commissioner Luciano, for being the only commissioner to respond. So I am asking you to respond in writing to my questions, and I'd also like to request in-person meetings. My concerns are inconvenient and difficult to digest. I get that because I know our community has suffered and are eager for healing solutions so we can breathe a little easier, literally. So let me begin. So please keep top of mind that the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines have been authorized, not approved. I want you to keep in mind for the people of our county that you're advocating for an experimental medicine. Only 8,000 people were trialed before the mRNA experimental vaccine was approved. According to their own fact sheets for providers, both the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines do not stop transmission, do not reduce hospitalization or death, do not stop the virus, and effectiveness isn't guaranteed beyond 2 months. And worse, according to the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, since the vaccine program has been rolled out, The experimental vaccine has caused injury and death in healthy people. As of 3 days ago, 40,433 adverse effects were in the VAERS report. And of that 40+ thousand were 127 deaths. Included in that, those adverse events includes 175 eye swelling and eye pain, 57 cases of blindness and deafness. There are thousands of adverse events, meaning that this experimental vaccine, despite what we've been told, isn't safe. It causes harm. So again, my two main questions to the county are, on what grounds are you basing safety and efficacy, seeing as there are no longitudinal studies? And two, what data are you following that proves we're not already at herd immunity, given that there's a 99% recovery rate without a vaccine, and that a very large number of our population is inherently low risk, including children under 16, healthy people with adequate hydration, sufficient vitamin D3, copper, zinc, and a large number of people with blood type O. They're not susceptible. I'm truly frightened for the elderly and the children. The trials did not include those populations. There are other prophylactic and early intervention repurposed medicines that work and do no harm. So, for example, I saw an interview on the news this past
30
week with a
seconds, Mr. Hoyos,
Californian
30 seconds.
urgent care doctor, Dr. Brian Tyson, who said he had no deaths in 1,700 active COVID cases using hydrochloroquine protocols. He echoes Dr. Zelenko's findings. Dr. Zelenko advised the White House physician when President Trump was ill. In his interview, he said, we don't need a vaccine. If you have 99.97% chance of survival, why do you need a vaccine? I wish to remind you that the VAERS has already reported 127 deaths with vaccine. We cannot ignore that this experimental medicine does fatal harm. We need to pause, dig deep, and ask
Mr.
ourselves,
Hoyos,
what are we doing?
that's your time, Mr. Hoyos. Please finish. That's your time.
Yes, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. Nicole Guglielmi. Ms. Guglielmi, please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nicole Guglielmi. I'm speaking in regards to the ongoing hunger strike within the Essex County facility. I demand that Essex County cuts its contract with ICE and ends its collaboration, excuse me, with this inherently racist and xenophobic system. The 86 hunger strikers need to be released right now. In Essex County, along with other counties, ICE has acted in political retaliation by placing hunger strikers in solitary confinement, which is essentially a torture tactic. Strikers are also being transferred to other facilities, away from their families for support. I don't know what excuses you all use to defend your profiting off of family separation, abuse, and death, but I know other counties have plenty. One of this being transfers, which makes absolutely zero sense considering you're acting as if ICE is acting in good faith, but they're not. Transfers are happening, whether or not as long as you keep this contract, transfers are happening. The only way you can stop them is by closing the contract and ending it. That's the only way you're going to stop transfers. So if you're going to be like Bergen, you're going to be like Hudson, and you're going to defend this contract because you want to keep families together in some convoluted way, then you're absolutely wrong. So as other people have already asked, what is your reason for continuing this contract? Because it's not beneficial. You could say that this facility is better than other facilities, which is also wrong because any form of this detention it's inherently wrong. So just what is your excuse from continuing to profit off of the violence that has happened? 86 people in your county are hunger striking for their freedom. And you want to say that these are good conditions. I don't think they're going without food for good conditions. So you need to tell us, why are you doing this? And you need to cut the contract. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank goodness. Thank you. Our next caller is Charlotte Bernard, I believe. Sorry if I butchered that. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Hello. My name is Charlotte Barrand, and I am from Lincroft, New Jersey. And I, like many others before me, am asking that all of the hunger strikers at Essex County Correctional Facility be released, and that Essex County end their contract with ICE. Hunger strikers have been placed in solitary confinement. They have had money taken out of their accounts, and they have had their phone privileges revoked. COVID-19 continues to spread through the facility, and the jail lieutenant is ignoring requests to disinfect the cells where COVID sufferers have been held, as hunger strikers are now placed there. Instead of being put at risk of COVID in ECCF, the hunger strikers, the vast majority of whom are non-offenders, deserve to be with their family during these stressful times. People do not deserve to be held in detention because of their immigration status so that Essex County can line its pockets, especially not now. I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Joseph Ivino. Mr. Ivino, please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin. Mr. Ivino?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You may begin.
Okay, sorry. Hello and thank you and congratulations to you all.
Mr. Ivino, there's an issue with your phone. I can barely hear you.
I'm sorry, can you hear me better now?
Now we can hear you. Now you're good. Thank you. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes from now. Problem. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you and congratulations to you all. Thank you for your patience. I'm from Bergen County and I wanted to call into my neighbors in Essex to urge you to do the right thing and cancel your county's ICE contract in the 2021 budget. I didn't participate in the protests that were held in support of the hunger strikers outside Bergen County Jail, but I kept up on it from afar. I knew it was wrong to detain these people for their immigrant status, regardless of the inhumane living conditions they were in. But it wasn't until yesterday that it really hit me how wrong this was, and what an opportunity we had to do better when I saw a picture of one of the detainees looking out of their tiny window and looking at the noise of the protests outside with hope and joy on their face, and it shook me. A few miles from the Bergen County Jail in my high school, we read a story by Ursula K. Le Guin called The Ones Who Walk Away from Omlius. And the narrator asks you to imagine a utopia where everyone's free and happy and comfortable except on one awful condition. The condition is that to maintain the utopia, one unfortunate soul must be held in a dark cell, forgotten and alone in misery. They must not be given any kindness or freedom on any condition. Everyone learns about this when they come of age, but most people, after their initial shock and disgust, slowly give in and decide to live with it. They go on with their lives comfortable with it. However, a few people, young and old, silently walk away from the utopia, and it isn't clear where they're walking towards, but they seem to know where they are going, and it is away. Council members, New Jersey is so close. Only 5 counties in New Jersey still have any entanglement with ICE, and you have a chance to make Essex one of the ones that leave it. You can lead New Jersey out of this, bring New Jersey closer to being one of the first states in the nation to have their hands clean of ICE detainments. Cory Booker and Bob Menendez are on board. I hope you will lead the way for my county and the remaining counties in New Jersey to do the same. The council member invoked Elie Wiesel. We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Please act to show you will live by these words. Thank you for your time and your public service.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Carrie Murphy. Ms. Murphy, please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Carrie Murphy. I want to know over the years, well, first of all, I want to say that I've asked these questions numerous times to the Essex County, commissioners now, and I never got an answer. I have Oprah'd, I have asked at meetings, I have provided my email numerous times. So I would like these questions answered, and I would like it done in writing. I want to know over the years how much commission monies that the Essex County has received from the jail vendors. Where have all these monies gone to? Have they gone to your pockets? In 2019, Essex spent about $99 million of our money, and $70 million of that money went into people's salaries. Shame on Richardson and all those rubbing union leaders' backs and employers' backs and politicians' backs that you're using your jail not to keep residents safe, but you're using it to make employment. You're creating profits off of people suffering. I am demanding, so many people have been demanding, your own constituents have been demanding that you end the ICE contract, that you listen to the 87 hunger strikers and realize that they're suffering, and you end their oppression. You do the right thing. You stand for justice. And you ensure that everyone is in that jail, whether they're a detainee or an inmate, receives human rights, that their human rights are not violated. How many people have died in your jail over the years? Are you number one for that too? Nobody in your jail has a death sentence, not one person. Detainees put in your jail have no criminal charges, and they're suffering in your jail for profit. Shame on you. Your county has the power to end that contract. You must do it now. Your county has a constitutional duty to honor human rights for all people in that jail. No more conversations. Do it now. Gil was talking about tonight's program. This isn't a program. This is a meeting. This is a meeting. But the nonsense coming out of each and every one of your mouths makes it seem like a sad soap opera program. We have
30
people,
seconds, Ms. Murphy, 30 seconds.
We have people that videoed Joe D, Deportation Joe, intimidating and violating people's rights to peaceful assembly at the Cherry Blossom Park. You are not leaders. None of you are leaders. Bringing up Wiesel's name. How dare you? Seibold, you've been in office for, what was it, 23 years? You knew what was happening in that jail, and you have done nothing. Shame on you.
That is
To
your
all
time,
the
Ms. Murphy.
Latinos that are in power,
Ms. Murphy, that is your time. That is your
disgusting.
time.
Disgusting.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Stacy Gregg. Ms. Gregg, please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Can you hear me? Stacy
Yes,
Gregg,
you may begin.
Rockaway, New Jersey. Okay. I want to echo all of the things that were said by people who spoke during this open to the public session. I would also like it in writing to each and every question that was asked. I think its time has ended. It's a new year, 2021. I'm not going to say it's a happy year, and I'm not going to wish you, any of you, happy New Year's. You've made life miserable for so many for too long, and it's got to stop. You need to get out of this contract, and you have to stop hiding. It was egregious what happened tonight with Joey D, Deportation Joe, trying to sell himself as a progressive when he backed Chris Christie, when he, it's a good thing that you all showed up to give food out. That is something commemorable. But where did you get the money for the chosen people that got food handed out on a flyer that had no less than 2 to 3 times Joey D's name? He's like a psychopath, that he has to have his name all over every little bit of good that's done. I'm glad it's attached to the old word freeholder, because that's what you all will be forever and ever for people who know you and are following this. But you've got the 2021 is a year you stop hiding. We want the answers in writing, and we're going to get the newspapers and the media to publish your words, what your answers are. Because like Hudson, they change. 1 year we're phasing out. Gil, very nice man, showed up in Union County and said he was against all ICE contracts and they should be shut down. But he didn't want to shut the one down in his backyard. You guys don't want to shut the ones down in your backyard. You're NIMBYs, not in my backyard. NIMBY, that's what you all are. And you're using this blood money to pay off God knows who, your friends, your family. I'd like a list of all friends and patronage jobs that you've gotten for people. And who's getting this money, this blood money, where if you don't want, it's nothing but slavery and human trafficking. When you're selling people from place to place, you let ICE come into your county and move people around. According to a report from last month, Essex County cooperates with ICE more than the other 20 counties in New Jersey combined, and more than the State Department of Corrections. Under the Immigration Trust Directive, no law enforcement agency in New Jersey is supposed to cooperate with ICE unless required by law. In Essex, however, it allowed ICE to interview 360 detained people, tipped ICE off about a pending inmate's release 168 times, and held 168 past their eligible release date and time. This is human trafficking. You have a
30
dollar amount on their
seconds,
head.
Ms. Bragg, 30 seconds.
If they do work, you give them $1 a day. How can you not call yourselves all slave owners? Okay? You're not landowners. When that term came to be as freeholders, you had to own a certain amount of land, and Black and brown people could not be freeholders. You don't deserve the title of commissioners. You need to end this contract. You need to end it this year and stop hiding under lies. There's no way Joey D is a progressive. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank
Did you
you.
cut me off?
Our next speaker is Matt Smith. Mr. Smith, you have 30 seconds, 3 minutes to speak. You may begin, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Matt Smith, and I'm calling on the Freeholder Board and County Executive to end the ICE contract once and for all in Essex County, and to release the dozens of hunger strikers who are courageously protesting for their lives as COVID-19 continues to rip through our jails and killing detainees in New Jersey jails at an exponentially higher rate than the general population. Right now, Essex County jail guards are intimidating people who are going on hunger strike, throwing their belongings in the trash, putting them in isolation for no other reason than their courageous protest against the unjust and unconstitutional civil detention that is taking place right here in Essex County. This isolation is tantamount to solitary confinement, which is defined as psychological torture by the United Nations. Let's not forget that Donald Trump's own inspectors for ICE failed the Essex County Jail during recent inspections in recent years for unsanitary and unsafe conditions. New Jersey Attorney General Grubier Grewal, as was said earlier, issued a new directive prohibiting local law enforcement from cooperating with ICE. Which county led all counties in instances of cooperating with ICE? That would be Essex County, which has more instances of cooperating with Trump's ICE than in all other 20 counties in New Jersey combined. Could this be because Essex County doesn't earn revenue from immigrants held in the regular county facility? That is, unless and until they start detaining them on behalf of ICE through a detainer agreement. Could that be why Essex County is cooperating with ICE, again, to profit off of immigrant detention? Quoting our own New Jersey Congressmember Bonnie Watson Coleman, in her call to action in this week's Star Ledger, she states, our national history, and particularly the stories of African Americans and other marginalized groups, are proof that where there is a financial incentive for incarceration, there is always an equal drive to ensure people fill prison cells. From Ferguson to Parchman Farm, history is replete with examples of the insidious ties between the use of incarceration and corrupt profit motives. Whether we're talking about the war on drugs or the war on people who come here to seek a better life, we've proven over and over that allowing profit into the equation creates a situation where what is right or logical or even most efficient is replaced by what will bring financial gain.
30 seconds, Mr. Smith, 30 seconds.
Begets an addiction that eventually controls decision-making, whether that's about mandatory minimums or a local prison contract, as we have right here in Essex County. There has to be a separation between justice and revenue. Anytime you allow them to blur, you don't end up just with corruption. You risk undermining faith in the entire system. As we continue the national conversation about justice, we must end mass incarceration, and we must end the profit motives from detention in Essex County. And I would like a response to my question about why Essex County has exorbitantly higher rates of cooperation
That is your
with
time,
ICE
Mr. Smith.
than
That is
any
your
other
time,
county than any other county in the state of New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Jake Ephros. Mr. Ephros, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Hi there, my name is Jake Ephros. Yeah, I'm from Essex County, and I've been to a handful of these meetings before, and we've discussed ICE detention a number of times before. I'm calling in today to echo the words of so many others who are calling in to demand, one, that Essex County release the 86 hunger strikers at your county jail, especially in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in addition, you need to cancel the ICE contract. We have been demanding the cancellation of this contract for so long now. And we've spoken to you for so many times, over and over, about canceling this contract, and you have defended it, commissioners, over and over by saying that the conditions are great, that we need it for this and that, for the revenue's sake, to make sure that the hunger strikers, or excuse me, that the people detained are close to their families, etc. All these horrible excuses that are so blatantly revealed to be false in light of 86 people hunger striking at the facility. Do you know what it takes? Do you have any idea what it must take for someone to starve themselves? What kind of place this must be for someone to starve themselves to demand their freedom? How is it at all possible that you can be responsible for 86 people starving themselves to demand their freedom and continue to defend the contract that you have with ICE? It's absolutely abhorrent. And if you don't see that this is a growing movement against immigration and customs enforcement, then I don't know what else to tell you. This movement has gone from Bergen County to Hudson County to Essex
30
County,
seconds.
of people inside detention, putting their bodies on the line for their freedom. Are you going to continue ignoring them? And are you going to let them suffer? Or are you actually going to stand up, finally, release them, publicly call for their freedom, and cut the contract? I would like a written response. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Jay Arena. Mr. Arena, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Yes, Jay Arena, Newark, New Jersey. I'm joining with the other speakers in calling attention to the heroic hunger strikers at the ICE, Essex County ICE concentration camp that are demanding their release. I call on the board to immediately release these heroic political prisoners who are facing repression in their attempt to attain their freedom. As others have mentioned, they have been put in solitary confinement. Their rights have been taken away, phone rights, and they've been moved around the ICE gulag system. So yes, this is political repression that you are carrying out, that the Essex County authorities are carrying out, and it must end. So they must be freed, and you must use your authority, use your power to end immediately this contract. You began the meeting denouncing rightly the Trump administration and their gangster activities that we see going on in Washington. But over the last 4 years, you have worked hand in glove with the Trump administration with this ICE blood money contract. So that's a bit hypocritical on your part to denounce Trump, and then in words, but in actions, you have collaborated with them over the last few years, several years, and before that, under previous administrations, Obama and Clinton and Bush, with this blood money contract. So I have a number of questions. One is to the outgoing president, but continuing board member, Brendan Gill. A couple of years ago, you said this contract must end. Well, when is it going to end? under what conditions will finally move you, and this is a question I want an answer, what conditions will finally move you to introduce a motion to end this contract? We now have over 100 heroic strikers at the ICE concentration camp demanding their freedom. What else must be done for you to act on your nice words? To the current president, Mr. Richardson, you talked about all the accomplishments, including around ICE, but you included that there are areas of concern. Well, is the hunger strikers, the heroic hunger strikers, an area of concern for you? And when
30
are
seconds,
you,
Mr. Rita, 30 seconds.
And when are you, as president, going to introduce a motion to end this contract? And finally, Ms. Siebold, you said, quoting a late writer, that you can't stay silent in the midst of injustice. Well, what about your deafening silence? Why do you continue? You praise Joe D, Deportation Joe, but you won't say a word about the ICE concentration camp, and in particular, the heroic strikers that are demanding their freedom. My question, when are you going
That is your
to
time,
raise
Mr.
your
Rain.
voice
Please wrap up.
against
That's
this
your time.
injustice?
Thank you. Our next caller is Mr. Whitney Strube. Mr. Strube, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Oh, hello. This is Whitney Strube from Newark with North Jersey DSA once again. I just want to be sure there should be other people on the queue as well. I know Mary Rizzo was on the queue and have not heard from her yet, even though I just called in. But in any case, I just want to briefly add to my comments from earlier, this one as an open public comment. I just want to be sure you're aware of the context in Hudson County, where the freeholders there in December, before becoming commissioners, disregarded the will of the public at a 12-hour meeting where literally 100% of the speakers, over 100 speakers, all protested the renewal of their ICE contract, and they voted 6-3 to renew it nonetheless, which is what led Senators Booker and Senators Menendez, also Senator Castro, or former Representative Castro rather, to weigh in protest and made the national news. It's been covered in the Star Ledger, Democracy Now, and elsewhere. And this is exactly the situation that Essex is in now, only you've been avoiding the sort of national spotlight until the hunger strike began, which was just covered on Democracy Now today. This is national news, the atrocity in Essex County. And I just want to add to my earlier comments by really centering the courage of the hunger strikers, which you've heard other people allude to. This is a direct quote. I want to emphasize that in the Abolish ICE New Jersey, New York coalition, we are working with the people inside. We are working with the hunger strikers. We are working with lawyers. We are working with their families. And essentially nobody is on your side here. The consensus within the immigrant justice community is overwhelming that you are in the wrong, and that our movement is in the right. I think that's very important to note, that in Hudson County, during those hearings, every single member of the immigrant justice community was on our side. Nobody defended their ICE contract, and nobody defends your ICE contract. And so I just want to read a verbatim quote from a man who prefers to remain anonymous. We're calling him Hunger Striker A, who is in Essex County Jail. And this is a quote: "We're fighting because I want to stay in this country with my children, in this country where I have lived for so long and which I consider home. I don't want to leave it, especially my children. How will I leave them? They are very young. You have to let them know that our families need a lot of support, not just money, but the warmth of a home. They need their father, because a father is a light that his children want to follow to move forward. We're sacrificing our bodies, letting them know that staying in the country with my children and my children's well-being is more important than my life. I am showing them that my life is worthless if I don't have my family." Those are verbatim words from people whose immiseration you are profiting from. If you don't speak out on their behalf, that is just such a callous and reactionary and racist and just inhumane thing on your behalf. You've spoken out before against ICE's Islamophobic spokesman in New Jersey. There is nothing stopping you from publicly demanding the release of these hunger strikers. And if you don't do that and do that immediately, shame on all of you. And Brendan Gill, you especially, who have spoken up for this, we appreciate it. And you need to speak up too, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Serge Demathak. Mr. Demifek, please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Serge Demifek. I am with the American Friends Service Committee, an immigrant rights organization that most of you are familiar with. Our office is just 1 block from the Freeholders Hall of Records. I am calling to encourage the freeholders to look into this alleged case of solitary confinement. No, I should say the cases of hunger strikes. It's been difficult for advocates to have access to the jail as we used to because of COVID-19. So we want you to, I know Mr. Richardson has been very proactive about, his work, at the county level, but I want his proactiveness to transfer into one of our most urgent issue, which is the condition of detentions. You probably know that ICE stopped the county from sharing data regarding the management of the jail during COVID-19. In fact, we did not receive any data regarding ICE detainees during COVID-19. And it's our belief that the county can do something about it by first start being transparent about what's happening at the jail and not, just following us, but listening to the people. So please send a group of people to the jail so that they can do a small fact-finding mission about what's happening there, or you can transfer it to the task force and mandate them to go do their job right there. It's something that's very urgent to make sure that it's not just about, we heard that, but that you went there and did a thorough investigation. That's one. Secondly, the annual report of the Attorney General's directive has come out, the Immigrant Trust Directive, and it is not looking good for Essex County. It's clear that in the course of about 360 times, Essex County provided access to a detained individual for an interview. This is to ICE. So this is 360 times. So you are basically putting to the side the Immigrant Trust Directive
30 seconds.
guidelines.
30 seconds.
So this is something that I think Essex County needs to look at. And there's a new law that was signed, the solitary confinement law. I want to encourage the county to start implementing those laws before the Correction Commission puts out any particular rules, to show that they're proactive and that they're actually following the leadership of the governor who just spoke here a few minutes ago. So thank you so much. Thank you to all the new office, to the new elected officials, and to the new leadership. And we look forward to working with you. You have a big job ahead of you, starting with some of these key questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, there are no more speakers left in the queue.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few email public comments that I need to read.
Please read them. Thank you.
It looks like there's approximately 5. I might be off by 1. The first comment is by Lucy Austin, no address given. Hi, my name is Lucy Austin. I'm contacting you regarding the surge in COVID-19 cases at Essex County Jail and at the hunger strike among people in ICE detention at the jail. COVID-19 cases are rising, and the only way to stop the spread and the likely sickness and death is to release people. People in ICE detention are putting their bodies on the line by hunger striking to demand their release. One hunger striker said that before being detained at Essex, I've never experienced the suffering, the pain, the agony that it is to be locked up there. All the humiliations, all the torture that one goes through in that place is unbelievable. It's awful. These hunger strikes are demanding their immediate release as well as proper medical care. One person in detention says that sometimes the medicine comes late, sometimes it doesn't come at all. People are dependent on medicine that they're not getting, and they're suffering. Will you take action by urging ICE to release people, cutting your contract with ICE, and in the meantime, ensuring proper medical care? Thank you for considering. Lucy Austin. Similar comments regarding the ICE detainee hunger strike in the Essex County Correctional Facility were issuing a call for the immediate release were submitted by the following people, and that their emails will be read into the record in their entirety at a later date. That's Jack Tomei, Lauren Berry, Claire Laurentine, Krista Ellis, Raul Cocard, Alex Scott, Daniel Libetz, Aaron Meisel-Glan, and Ori Fong. The next comment was submitted by Ellen Isaac of New York. ICE detainees in Essex County are not allowed to wear masks despite living in a 48-person dorms with no social distancing, even during a quarantine. There's no COVID testing, except for those obviously quite ill, and then none for their contacts. This is in contradiction with all CDC standards and puts all detainees' lives at risk. They also receive inadequate general medical care with transfers to hospitals, denied using COVID as the excuse. This is a travesty of justice and humanity. It is criminal. The next public comment is from Susanna Jarbotaski of New Brunswick. Yes, my home address is in Middlesex County, the ICE jail in Essex County that this Board of Commissioners continues to support negatively impacts the lives of people all around our state, including my local community. I'm writing you because my dear friend, a father in my church community, was detained at the Essex County Correctional Facility for almost 2 years. In that time, his U.S. citizens' children and spouse suffered from trauma, toxic stress, financial instability, and the daily impacts of losing a father to the cruelty of state violence. My friend, whose name I will not disclose for his personal protection, contracted COVID-19 while in detention. He was later transferred to the Bergen County Jail, then deported, leaving his kids and partner with no father. This Board of Commissioners is responsible for that family separation, and because you choose to support a contract with ICE, why are you comfortable with that? Why are you comfortable with the way the ICE spreads COVID-19? Their practices of transferring people from detention center to detention center may have linked to several outbreaks. Your own county website is full of alerts about COVID protocol. The county health department website has detailed instructions on what to do if you believe you've been exposed to COVID-19. The gist is stay home. How can you advocate for reducing community spread of this deadly disease while giving ICE a green light to increase the spread of COVID-19? Please show some regard for human life and for our safety. Your moral bankruptcy directly harms people. Please end your contract with ICE. The next comment was submitted by Katya Altman of Jersey City. Hello, my name is Katya Altman. I am from the North New Jersey chapter of Democratic Socialists of America. I'm proud to be a part of a local wave of activism against New Jersey politicians doing business with ICE. The immigrant detention is immoral, and county governments should not sustain their budgets by imprisoning people for living there. If local governments need money, they should raise taxes on the wealthy. They can afford it. Please listen to the men and women you are imprisoning. Stop collaborating with immigration and customs enforcement. I yield my time. The next comment is from Claire Roberts of Maplewood, New Jersey. Is the county going to fund the TNVR program for Essex County Feral Community Cats again for 2021? Where is the public notice of the meetings of the Essex County TNVR committee? And where are the recordings of those TNVR committee meetings kept for the public access? Thank you. The next comment is from Len Bailey of Maplewood, New Jersey. Dear Essex County Commissioners, as an animal advocate, I want to thank you for funding the TNVR R for Essex County in 2020. This was a wonderful and critical first step towards reducing the numbers of community cats in the county, thereby alleviating the suffering that cats endure when they live on the streets. I hope you will continue to fund this program for 2021. COVID-19 made it difficult for more people to access the AHS spray neuter ban, but I'm hopeful that towards the last half of this year, residents will feel safe from infection and feel free to travel. Publicizing this wonderful program more widely would result in a larger number of residents taking advantage of it. If the program does go forward, I will do my part to ensure that residents know it's available. Thank you again for your humane approach and the understanding of the value of TNVR. Sincerely, Lynn Bailey, member of Soma for Animals. The final comment was submitted by Jeffrey Feld of Short Hills. And this is regarding a non-agenda item. And it continues from part of an earlier letter. Dear, did the prior board president review and authorize the December 11th, 2020 written response to Attorney Fell? When did each commissioner receive a copy of the state's long-term tax exemption law handbook issued on or about November 18, 2020? When did each commissioner learn that the former DLGS executive director, local finance board chair under whose watch the September 24, 2020 virtual meeting guidance and long-term tax exemption handbooks were issued and was to become the NJHMFA executive director effective January 1st, 2021? When did each commissioner receive a copy of A1135 with 9, which respected the county's 2020 audit? What legislative oversight steps has the county local governing body taken to ensure the adequate mandatory annual long-term tax exemption and audit disclosures in the upcoming CY 2020 audit to be prepared by Samuel Klein and Company? 10, what legislative oversight steps has the county local governing body taken to collect all long-term tax exemptions revenues due the county from all Essex County municipalities under the long-term tax exemption law? 11, who authorized a written legal opinion or memorandum reference in the December 11, 2020 written response that non-urban renewal entity in JHMFA long-term tax exemption was not repealed and replaced effective April 17, 1992. 12, who answered, how much? I can't say 2 minutes. Okay, I have. You have 2 minutes now. Okay. 12, who authorized a written legal opinion of the memorandum reference on the December the 11th of 2020 written response that no long-term tax exemption revenues are due owing the county, see City of Orange, Township, calendar year 2018 and calendar year 2019 audits? 13, who authorized a written? I'm sorry. 30 seconds? Yeah, 30 seconds. Okay, I have 30 seconds. Who authorized a written legal comment or memorandum referencing the December 11th, 2020 written responses that the county long-term tax exemption audit disclosures were adequate? See the City of Orange, calendar year 2018 and calendar year 2019 audits. The remainder of this document will be read in its entirety into the record at a later time. Mr. President, I know you're going to just a little instruction before you move into the benediction, just to inform the board that like earlier in the program, this benediction was pre-recorded, so just stay on. You will not see it, and then when we come back, Mr. President, you will have the opportunity to during the meeting. So, Mr. President, I will turn it back to you regarding the benediction.
Okay, and right before we do the benediction, as is usual and customary, we your comments to the speakers and to the folks who wrote in. Those questions will be answered in written form.
Yes, Mr. President, as our policy and practice, all questions will be responded to in writing.
Mr.
Thank you.
President, if I.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
If I may
Mr.
comment-
Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to, based on some of the comments that were heard, I know we normally respond in writing, and I appreciate the format, but I think it's important for the record. We've heard numbers thrown around, 86 people on food strikes and so forth. There are 7 individuals who are on food strike in the facility. Those individuals actually gave a petition to the administration of the facility before initiating the strike, saying that the strike had nothing to do with the conditions at the facility, but against their opposition to ICE policies and how they believe they should be treated by the federal government through the ICE organization. So whether you can debate that's another issue, but I think it's important for the board to know that the hunger strike has nothing to do with the conditions at the facility, as indicated by the individuals on the food strike, and the number is 7 people. It is not 86. But just wanted to put that in the record.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Okay, so at this time, we will have the benediction given by Reverend Paul Donahue from St. Lucy's Roman Catholic Church in Newark.
Let us bow our heads. Let us approach the throne of grace and ask the Almighty to bless these county commissioners. May the Almighty God of power and might, wisdom and justice, assist these county commissioners with a spirit of counsel and fortitude, so that their time of public service may be conducted in righteousness and be eminently useful to all the people of Essex County. May the light of divine wisdom direct the deliberation of these commissioners, so that the laws framed for our rule and government enhance peace and promote happiness and continue to bring us the blessings of liberty and equality. May these commissioners execute the laws with both justice and mercy. May they seek to restrain crime, vice, and immorality. We pray to you, who are the Lord and God, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our organization meeting. Commissioners, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening, and thanks again for your support.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
job, everybody.
President Wayne Richardson.
Thank you all.
Bye now.
Thank you, President, Vice President. Great job. Madam Clerk, to all the staff, again, awesome job.
Thank you.
Good. Fantastic.